kick it off like a bar still. You know what I mean? Don't have to do that. But it's right. All right, call hello, Yahweh. And double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And we're gonna keep going into a bit of prophecy, bit of history, just to give the keep giving the proper understanding of what's happening in the world, because we're having a situation where you got Zionism is at the forefront of the world. Zionism, the idea of a Jewish people, or I hate that fucking term, but the idea of a chosen people is even in the spotlight. Because a lot of people are like, well, it's racist. There shouldn't be no chosen people that think they're superior and this, that, and the other. So there's that aspect. So the whole idea of a chosen people is in the spotlight. The whole idea of a chosen land is in the spotlight. Land inheritance and all these different things, yeah. And so it's all confusion, and ultimately people ain't got the right idea of what's going on. So that's why we got to go into the scriptures and give the proper context to what's happening, because there is a Most High. He does have a chosen people, and that chosen people does have a right, a God-given right, not man-given, a God-given right to the land. The problem is that the problem that's happening over there is neither of the people claiming that land is that people. So no matter what happened, there was always going to be evil in that land. And we're going to show you in the scriptures the ultimate solution. People say they want peace in the Middle East. Well, the peace is going to come when you put the circle in the circle hole.
Yeah, the true inhabitants of that land.
When you put the square in the square, you play that game and you put the triangle in the triangle.
That's basically what Esau is doing. He's trying to put a triangle in the square. And it force people in the land.
And it ain't, the vibration ain't right. It's not working, man. So we're going to just go into the scriptures.
Ain't that supposed to be the land of flowing with milk and honey? Yeah, ain't nothing but shell bombings and shellings and pure destruction. You get the drone sites of Gaza and Palestine. It's all rubble, man. That's supposed to be the land of milk and honey, man. There's nothing but war and dead bodies over there.
The war, we're going to get that in Ezekiel 36. The Lord said the land is swallowing up men.
Bro, there was even a picture on social media of a guy catching spirits going throughout the skies and all that, like a dark spirit. Because there's nothing but death going on over there, man. Bare bodies.
And rightfully so. Why? Because you've got unholy and ungodly people on both sides. Because I know, generally speaking, we're looking at the Palestinians as innocent towards the Israelis, which they are. They didn't start this.
No.
Them man started it. But regardless of that fact, if we're talking about on a higher plane, they're not innocent because, one, the majority of those people are not Israelites. Maybe some of them are, but the majority are not. But two, they're not holy. They're not worshiping the Heavenly Father the right way. And anyone that lives in that land and that doesn't adhere to the righteousness of the Heavenly Father is going to catch hell.
Second Kings 17:25. And so it was the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared. Well, I'll read from 24 for context. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Kedar and from Avar and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel.
We got to go into some historical context. This is going back to the time of the Assyrian Empire, wasn't it not? Assyrian?
King of Assyria.
The time of the Assyrian Empire, right? Now the Assyrians conquered the northern kingdom. Because the land of Israel, which isn't what the state of Israel encompasses today. They only have a very small portion of what was the land of Israel. The full inheritance is much larger, which is why there's such a fight going on. Because all these different nations, Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq, all these different nations, Egypt, they all possess a portion of the inheritance. But going back then, when we had the inheritance, you had the 12 tribes that was dwelling, and the land was divided among them during the time of Joshua. I believe that's Joshua. I forgot what chapter it is in Joshua. But you had Joshua, he divided the land among the different tribes. So you had the land of Gad, the land of Benjamin, which Benjamin was inside Judah. Yeah, Judah. Oh no, sorry, Jerusalem was inside Benjamin actually. Judah was to the south, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, so you had Benjamin and Judah. You had the different tribes at a different portion of land. Now, during the time of King Solomon, and after King Solomon, I should say, with his son, there was a split between the northern, what was known as the northern kingdom, which is like Gad and all them tribes, and the southern kingdom, which was Judah and Benjamin. And then you had the Levites, who never had an inheritance, but they were around the temple. Right? Now the Assyrians came and they conquered the northern kingdom. And they removed the northern kingdom out of the land. Yeah? What's that? In that's also in second Ezra.
Yeah.
Can we get that? Can we get that account? Let's get that. And by the way, the northern kingdom is really the so-called Hispanics, the natives, the peoples that Christopher Columbus and them, all them demons and the conquistadors, all them got. When they went over to the New World, the people they met over there in the New World were the children of the northern kingdom.
Yeah.
They're also Israelites. So this isn't a black thing. I know man like to harp on the black, but we've moved on from that now. We've moved on. This is 2024. This isn't a black thing, and it really never was in the spirit. This is about Israelites, and Israelite come in various shades and phenotypes. All Israel don't look the same. You know what I'm saying? Some have got so-called Negroid features, some don't.
The Lord said Israel's like a speckled bird.
Yeah.
Jeremiah 12, the Lord said Israel's like a speckled bird. So variations, man.
Yeah, there's
Like people.
we got 12 tribes, but each tribe is big enough to be its own nation.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So they're our brothers, man. The native, and we cry for our brothers too.
Yeah.
Meaning what we feel, what you do to any of the tribes, it's not insignificant to us. You know what Esau did to Gad? Hey, Benjamin, feel it, man. And that's how we was in the ancient world, man. If you touch one of the tribes, that's our brother. So we have to deal with you accordingly. So that's what we're doing. We're coming back together and seeing each other as brothers rather than as strangers. Because that's pretty much how we see each other, as strangers now,
Yeah.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra 13 and 14. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanessar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
What does it mean by the multitude of the heathen? Back then, all the different nations were dwelling on the landmass which is connected. The connected landmass, because we go back into the book of Genesis, you read about, okay, hold that. Let's get Genesis the 10th chapter. Right? No, maybe 11. Maybe 11 might be a bit better. Get the 11th chapter, and right, and it should speak about Shinar in there. Yeah, let's read that.
Yep. So this is Genesis 11 from the top says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
So this is talking about after when Noah, after the flood with Noah, and Noah and his 3 sons touched down where? Where did they touch down? They touched down in what is known as Ararat, which is Turkey, which is in that, I know for the layman term, the Middle East, right? In that Middle Eastern region right there. And then they migrated and dwelt in Shinar, which is really Iraq. So this new world that we entered into after the flood was the center of that world is what's known as the Fertile Crescent, which is down there in the Middle East. That's the beginning of civilization as we know it, and the recorded civilization as we know it. And even in the secular world, they understand that the oldest civilizations are going back to where? Mesopotamia. But obviously Esau messes up all the timelines because he deals with what's known as prehistory. And there ain't no such thing as prehistory. That's all made up. Esau made all that shit up to try and disannul the Bible. There's only recorded history, which is around 6,000 years, which is the same as what the Bible records. Yeah? But you kids go to school, they're gonna start talking about Stone Ages and all this garbage. None of that ever existed.
Million BC and all that.
There weren't no Stone Age. How do we know there weren't no Stone Age? Because Cain was dealing with metallurgy. So how was there a Stone Age? That shows you man was always dealing with the iron, especially the principal things of a man's life. One of those things is iron.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's a Stone Age, and man was just walking around with stone.
Stone.
Bro, man are using stone now. So what's your point? No, is different people always had different levels of technology. Even now, you can find a man in the jungle that's rolling around with an arrow with no metal tip. But then you could go somewhere else, and man's got a metal statue.
Yeah.
So what? So is that man in a different age to that man over here? Esau's a BS dude, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's a lot. I was thinking like he's talking about nowadays. Oh yeah, we're recycling, but we had materials like glass back in the day that you break it. It's like now you can make more glass, but he's still making it seem like he's creating something new all the damn time. You know. Genesis 11:2 now says, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain.
The journey from where?
The east.
From the east. All right. Go on.
Says that they found a plain in the land of Shinar and they dwelt there.
The land of Shinar. Now you go into the history that is situated in Iraq today.
Ancient
So when you see these, you see what I'm trying to tell people, you gotta watch Esau, because Esau's a slippery bastard. Right? You got these pro-black pan-Africanists, they start busting nuts in their trousers whenever Esau says, oh, the first people from Africa. And you know, because they got no, you know, that's the ego that comes with being black and African. They start busting nuts. Oh yeah, see, we're the original man and all. It's all bullshit, man. The first peoples weren't from Africa. The first peoples came off a boat. The first peoples was not from an actual land. On this side of the world, the people came off a boat. That boat landed in Turkey, and then they traveled to Iraq. And then from there, different civilizations formed. But they're going to tell you, no, the first man was in Africa, and then they migrated up and then turned into white people in Europe, and they're the superior beings. That's what they're teaching your kids. What they're teaching you is evolution, right, and white supremacy.
Yeah, science falsely so called.
False science. And then, but Jake will run with it.
Yeah,
see her, the Mother Africa. No, there ain't no such thing as Mother Africa. Because we didn't come out of Africa. All right? So that needs to be fixed and sorted out. No, we came off a boat. The original people on this side of the world is off a actual boat. They came off. They didn't come out of a particular land. The first land they actually dwelt in and settled in was in Iraq. All right, go on up.
Yep, says that they found a plain in the land of Shinar and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime had they for mortar.
Now, what's the slime? What's slime, brother?
I remember you guys, bitumen. So basically,
right,
what they get for oil, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Where was it? Where's Shinar again?
Yeah.
There's no new thing on earth.
Yeah.
No.
What would happen in the ancient world, because they didn't dig down to get the oil. Right now, they dig down.
Fracking.
Well, fracking is one thing, but before fracking, they just dig down into under the earth. There was oil there, which they tell you that the oil comes from dead plants. That's not proven. They call it fossil fuels. That's a term they made up to say, oh, there's a bunch of dead dinosaurs and
finite research.
No. Oil more than likely is abiotic and is produced through processes in the earth. Remember, they said the oil place we're gonna run out. They ain't run out yet. It's all BS. Esau is a liar, but they call it fossil fuels to make man think that it came from bones over millions of years. BS. But anyway, Esau, man. That's why, you know. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, the oil was always there. That's proof. Because when they were there in Iraq, what would happen is there's certain places where the oil will come up and you get the tar pit. They call tar pit, which is where you get the bitumen. Bitumen is tar. But tar is just one of the stages, or that's not, I shouldn't use the word stage. When you have oil has various hydrocarbon. Is it hydrocarbon? Bro, my brain. It's called hydrocarbon, right?
So you've got hydrocarbons, but then you've got different not pure, but different ways it gets
sizes. It's sizes.
Oh, right.
So the longer
I'm
chain. Trying to remember, long chain hydrocarbons and short chain. So the shorter the chain, that's when you start getting towards gas and rocket fuel.
Oh.
And the long chain is when you get like tar. And usually in the oil thing, you get various lengths of hydrocarbons, which when they pump the oil out as crude oil, they can separate the oil into those different hydrocarbons, and that's how you get petrol. Or they can actually do what you said, which was fracking.
Fracking.
Is it fracking or cracking?
Fracking.
When
It's when you go into the water.
and then they dig into the
no. You're thinking of something else. Cracking. There's something called fractional. Cracking. Is it cracking? Yeah, it is cracking, isn't it?
Oh, is it a portmanteau? Like what? So it's
Cracking is when you can take tar and turn it into petrol.
Like, oh, I think I have heard that.
Yeah, so cracking, yeah. You got fractional distillation, which separates the hydrocarbons, but then you get cracking. So what that means is, say like you got crude oil, right? Only a certain portion of that crude oil is petrol.
Yeah.
Or only a certain portion of it is the different various hydrocarbons. So what you're gonna do? You need a lots of petrol.
Yeah.
So what they do is they take the long chain hydrocarbons and do a thing called cracking, where they break them up and produce smaller chain hydrocarbons, and that's how you can get more petrol in these things. Yeah, we know about these things, man. We understand the ways of the world, right? So the Esau does that with the crude oil. But like I said, that proves it, because back then they were in Shinar and they had the tar pits, and they used the tar from the tar pits to build. So it's not, the Bible's true.
Yeah.
It's there. It's geological proof. Before Saddam. Yeah. So that's what that slime was. Now they might read it and see slime. Oh, no, yeah, tar, bitumen, tar.
Yeah, and it goes back to what the apostle saying, look into these words, because like when you just click into it, you know, it just says it straight there. It's Kamah in the Hebrew, H2564, you know, bitumen, you know, as rising to the surface, slime, pitch, asphalt, pitch.
Yeah. All right, and that's for that again. We know what Iraq is known for.
Yeah.
Esau went over there to get that oil, because the whole world is running off oil for energy.
Yeah.
Going on.
It says, and they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord Yahweh came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord Yahweh said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing.
So at that time, all the people spoke the one language, and they know that because even the linguists will tell you that really, when you go around the world, you trace back all these different languages, they probably go back to one language. So all languages is basically a corruption of the Hebrew.
Yeah. And that's what happened to them anyway when the Lord broke up the languages. Different dialects is all broken up Hebrew basically.
That's why a lot of the languages were similar, but it was different.
Yeah.
They might even share the same alphabet. Like for instance, people talk about the
Aramaic.
Aramaic, right?
Aramaic.
Now there was a time when we were using the Aramaic script, but we were still writing Hebrew because the Aramaic script has the same vowels and alphabets. It's just like how you can write French and English with the same alphabet. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you got these goofy people talking about, oh yeah, that means that Yahweh Shai was speaking Aramaic. No. You speaking the Hebrew. They had different words in each language, but you could write each language in both scripts. You could write Aramaic with the Paleo Hebrew. You could write Aramaic with the Assyrian scripts. It's the same alphabet. Yeah.
Chinese is a modern day example of that, where it's actually many different languages and dialects, but then you go back to the Chinese, which is that one script. So it's not Cantonese per se. It's not like the other one, Mandarin. It's they'll say Chinese, and then there's all different dialects of the same thing.
Exactly. Hey, brother, can you go type in like a table of nations Bible Hub? I'm gonna come up with like the study part of it, but we're gonna need that in a minute. Yeah, go on.
Carry on, yeah. This is verse 6, and the Lord Yahweh said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
Yeah, and that's where you get the term. Yeah, that's where you get the term Babel from. Which means confusion.
Yeah.
The Lord confused their tongues. Their language.
separated them
Yeah.
into what? The various patriarchal nations, which all the nations are patriarchal.
Yeah.
All nations are
All
patriarchal because the Lord separated the seed of Adam anyway. So when you see these goofy guys talking about both your mother and your father have to be the same nation or any of this foolishness, just remember that wouldn't make no sense of how all the nations were formed in the first place. And there isn't one nation in the Bible that has a matriarch. No, not one. And that's why Dinah wasn't a tribe. That's it. It's a cut. Like we don't even. These guys want us to go backward and forward, but it's like, bro, why is Dinah not a tribe?
Right there.
Jacob had a daughter. She ain't a tribe. She an Israelite though.
Yeah, Israelite, yeah.
She's an Israelite, but she's not a tribe. And by the way, Rebecca wasn't an Israelite. If you want to get technical, because what's an Israelite? A descendant of Jacob. They married Jacob. But that's not saying that they're not of the seed. They are.
They're of the line. Yeah.
But I'm just saying it because they'll say,
technically they're not Israelites.
if your woman's not Israelite, then the children are not Israelites. Well,
No.
then that would mean that Judah's not, because his mother wasn't an Israelite. How could she be? If you want to get, we can get technical. But that was just for their go on.
Yeah, precept. This is so real quick. Numbers, the first chapter, verse 18, real quick. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, 420 years old upwards by their polls. And even at the point you made as well, Boaz, who was King David's great grandfather, I believe, was dealing with Ruth, and Ruth was a Moabite woman, but ultimately King David came through the line of Boaz, and it was a Judite, man.
Yeah, I think Rehoboam's mother was an Ammonite as well.
Yeah.
But you see, these dudes, they're just, and the world is trying to go away from these simple sciences, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we're here to bring it back to the real science, because Esau's not only confused the identity of nations, he's confused how a nation is even separated. That's why you got man running around here like Sean Paul, and he's like 18 different nationalities.
Jeez.
And then Esau will have you pay like £100 or whatever it is to get a DNA test, and you're coming back like man about to mix up some crack cocaine. Get 10% of baking soda in it. What's this all about? How can you be percentages, bro? How can your identity be percentages? Oh, I'm 1% German, and that's folly. Go back to Genesis 10. There were no percentages. You are what you are, and that is according to your father's seed, according to the creation of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man.
Sure.
Okay.
So you want to go back to?
Did you find out what I was looking for? Excellent. Now go down to the people not mentioned. Now I'm gonna reason. So we got that Shinar. All the people were in Shinar, and then they spread out. Now where did they spread to? Well, Shem mainly remained in what's known. I'm Salakia, Elder Malcolm, man. I'm just using it for people that have an understanding. Middle East, yeah, because I know it's not the right way to say it, but however, that's what people know. The Middle East, which is really West Asia,
The
right?
Levant.
Right.
The Levant.
You had Shem was mainly in that area, except for one, which you should know is the Philistines. The Philistines weren't Shemites. The Philistines were actually Mizraim that was dwelling in Canaan, and Canaan as well. Canaan were Hamites. But if you look around Canaan, you had ended up having Moab, all them man, the Syrians and all. They were all Shemites. So you had Shem was mainly there. You had some Hamites, the Canaanites, and Philistines. Ham was like North Africa, East Africa. Just peek it. So it's still in this region. Then you had Japhet, Gog, Magog, and so Europe. Yeah, and then that you didn't have no one over there in China at that time. So you didn't have no one in China. You didn't have no one North Pole, South, all the tip of Africa and all that stuff. They were all really living in this one area where you could say Europe, North Africa, East Africa, the Middle East, and up into Turkey kind of area. People had to spread out after that.
Yeah.
Right? So why do I say that? So even down to the time of and Elam, obviously, Elam is where Iran is. And then you can see how Elam then spread over.
Yeah.
Right? So when you go back to that time in history that we were speaking about, where it's in Esdras, where it says about they're gonna leave the multitude of the heathen. The reason we went back to Genesis to show you that what it means by the multitude of the heathen was that landmass where everybody was.
Yeah.
Everybody was really part of that one large connected landmass. Because you can technically walk from Europe to Africa.
Yeah.
And you can walk from Europe to China,
Yeah.
Russia. You can walk from China to South Africa.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a really one connected landmass, with Israel being right in the middle as a connecting part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason it said we're going to leave the multitude of the heathen is because there was another landmass which no one had ever dwelt before. It was disconnected, uninhabited. That is the Americas. Now Esau will tell you some bullshit about the Bering Strait, yeah, but that goes against recorded history. One, because there was no ice age that they're talking about. That's all manufactured. Two, the natives said they migrated north across the Mississippi, not south. So that lie they told that, they came from China and they migrated. No, that's a lie. The natives said they migrated north, meaning they came from Mexico and all that. They crossed the Mississippi and kept going and went up into Canada, and then the Inuit people and all that, all up in all them areas up there. That's where they migrated that way. Esau telling you they migrated that way because he's trying to mash up the thing. Yeah, you got sign up?
Yeah, no, because I remember seeing this image before. Just proving what you're saying. It's called the longest walkable road in the world, and as you see there, it's from the bottom of South Africa all the way to China. Yeah. Yeah. So 4,000 hours of walking.
Yeah, that's the multitude of the heathen. Now, people see the world as it is today. They see people living in South Africa. They see people living in China, living in the Pacific Ocean, and they kind of think people have always been that way. No, but they haven't always been that way. The Chinese ain't been in China. Esau would tell you they've been there for hundreds of thousands of years. That's not recorded history.
All nations came out of the Middle East, man.
Yeah, Moab went over there much later.
Yeah.
Ammon went over there much later in recent history, really, within the last 2,000 plus years. They weren't there like 4,000 years ago.
It's people migrate for resources and stuff like that. Like I remember watching the documentary with Idris Elba on Gold. And and it touched on how San Francisco got built up, and it was basically because the gold rush. Lots of people moved in, and then over time, it's like, oh, that's a settlement now. Whereas like before, there was any resources there. It's like, why are we going there?
That's the gold mines.
So people migrated eastward, westward, northward, southward, down into Africa and further into Africa. But if you look at Esau's false history, he'll tell you like 100,000 years ago in China. No, there weren't no man living in China 100,000 years ago. There were no man living in China 5,000 years ago.
That's a nomad land.
When you read in the scriptures, you read about Moab. Moab was in the Middle East. They didn't go there till after. Okay.
All those lands are like nomad lands. Russia, China, all that. No one got.
But that was still a connected land.
Yeah.
So it said they left the multitude of the heathen and went to a place where no man had dwelt. That was the Americas. That's how they got over there. Now they even lie about their history and say, 30,000 years ago in Mexico. No, that's a lie. All right. Now we could read where it says about the nations that the Table of Nations doesn't speak about, because all nations that exist today come through the Table of Nations, including the Chinese, the Ammonites, the Aborigines, anyone you could think of.
Anyone that came out of the 3 sons of Noah.
They all come from biblical nations, which is in the Bible. But you see, Esau, because he messed up the timelines, he now has to lie. So this is what he does. And vocab alone ain't going to want to deal with it. Well,
there weren't no eco people, are there?
Oh.
I just had to say. We're no eco people
Why
after.
you trying to manifest this guy? Let the man do what they're doing.
Some people think they think man's now or
That's part of the false narrative you got. But go ahead,
the told man said it.
Yeah, that's what madness. Listen, just stick to what's in the scriptures, man.
Yeah.
It's just that some things are so simple to debunk if you just stick to what's written in scripture. Oh, the Nephilim. Yeah, the Nephilim are running the world.
No understanding.
Bro, did you read in the scriptures where it said that the Lord destroyed everything that wasn't that wasn't on the ark? So how could there be Nephilim?
They don't even understand what the word
I
means.
don't even know what it means. But let's say it is meaning what you're saying. They would have been destroyed in the flood, showing you you're retarded. Just stick to what's in the scriptures, man. There ain't no one no people that don't come from Noah's 3 sons. And all of the nations are mentioned either in the table of nations or after that you end up having Moab, Ammon, Israel, what's it called? Esau. But outside of that, there ain't the book of Genesis basically contains all of the nations. That's why it's called the book of Genesis. There's no nations outside of it. No aliens.
None of that shit.
Yeah. Asgardians. Yeah. Go on.
No, read that. There's a type of nation from the Bible Hubs. What it includes and excludes. Noah and his family being the only person left alive after the flood, the table naturally begin with them.
Right. So you're going to see how Esau's a demon. So even he's acknowledging that the only people that were left alive after the flood is Noah and his family. So the table of nations begins with them. That should be it, right? So then everyone must come from that. Watch what they're going to do. Say that Esau's a demon, man. Vocab and them, man. And they go university and teach you this.
And it is from his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, that the inhabitants of the earth as known to the Hebrews.
Oh, see when they try to throw that in as known. No. Let's what is it? Is it 2nd Ezra 14? Is it 14 where it speaks about Moses? The Lord tells you that Moses was up on the mountain for 40 days, wasn't it? Yeah. And he told, is it Exodus 14 or 4? And 2nd Ezra 4. Oh man. Yeah. See if we could get that. Because what they're gonna try and make it look like is we gotta understand, like the Torah, the knowledge that Moses put into the Torah, right, was a pure knowledge. It wasn't a hearsay knowledge. Why was it a pure knowledge? Because the Lord actually was conversed with Moses and told Moses everything. So the record we have in the Torah is straight from the spiritual storage base, man. This ain't no secondhand this is what we thought, but we didn't know this or we didn't know that. Oh, we didn't know this name and we didn't know that name, and there were some people over there we didn't know about them. See, as known to the Hebrew. Oh, no. No. Go on up.
This is 2nd Ezra 14:3. Then he said unto me in the bush, I did.
You gotta give me some points. I have to get some points for that one, man. Yeah, usually my brain don't operate at the highest level, but it performed that time. Oh, no.
It says, then said he unto me, in the bush did I manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talked with him when my people served in Egypt. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt and brought him up unto the mount of where I held him by me a long season.
A long season.
Yeah. Yep. It says, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, these words shalt thou declare, and these words shalt thou hide.
So the Lord told Moses a lot of things. But the knowledge that Moses came back with and was writing down and recording things, right, in terms of the history, he knew all that. There were no people that he didn't know about. The Lord told him about that.
That's why you got the 5 books of Moses.
Yeah.
First 5 books are written by Moses, man. That's why in the Table of Nations, he basically, the Lord revealed all that history.
Yeah, he knew all that, man.
He knew everything.
Or unless you're going to tell me the Lord never corrected it, on all that, when he was there for that long. He told him all the different secrets, but he said, yo, by the way, there's some extra nations over there you man don't know about. The
Well,
Enoch.
yeah. Well, I mean, here's what it clearly says that there were even certain things that the Lord told Moses, and he's like, nah, but don't write that.
Don't
Yeah.
Some of the things we hid.
because those were meant to be revealed by the prophets down the line. You know, like Babylon being destroyed and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, every prophet had his lot. What to reveal?
Which one?
Yeah.
Genesis 9:17. And the Most High said unto Noah, this is no, in fact, I'll go to I'll start from there. This is the token talking about the rainbow of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread.
Cut. So that's a cut right there.
Yeah, to this day, to every people that's on the earth to this day, ain't no half demon people and all this foolishness. The Book of Enoch,
Reptilians and all this other shit.
You're watching too many fucking movies, man.
Yeah, sci-fi.
Yeah, but it tells you that the angels they laid down with but even if that was true, it plainly tells you that all the people today are but the elites, they're half reptilian and all this, bro. Like behave your fucking self, man.
Too much David Icke.
He was David Icke, man. The Book of Enoch is not accurate. It's not the real, man. It's inaccurate. It's false. It's corrupted. That's why we can't go by that. And the Book of Jasher too. Even though they're both mentioned in the scriptures, the ones that they have today is not the original book. But that's fine because we have the Book of Enoch, which is the Bible. Because everything Enoch was preaching
Man.
is the same thing that's written in by Isaiah and Jeremiah and all them were preaching. So we don't need to have that.
It's in the name because Enoch means learned man. Qanawak in the Hebrew. So everything we need to learn is in the whole scriptures. We got the whole Bible. We don't need no extra book. The Lord said, none shall want her mate.
Yeah, we don't need all that.
We don't need no extras, man.
Yeah, that Book of Enoch they got is madness, man.
Vocab might need it though, because that's his only avenue to try and act like he can get into the covenant. He can find some extra books somewhere and says, oh, look, see, he said that Esau got redeemed.
The Book of Satan.
Yeah, the book of Satan. That's what man, right, chapter.
Chapter 66.
666. Said that Esau got redeemed. Esau's the devil, man.
So quick one on the previous point.
And if you talk to them Amalekites, them so-called James, BB, and them, they don't know these things. They don't know these things, man, because they're not. The book doesn't link up with them in that way, man. They're not.
Well, they're
no
more about
synergy
the different type of mysteries.
Yeah.
The Luciferian doctrine.
the
That's
left
what
hand.
that man knows.
The left hand, yeah.
That's what they really believe in.
Yeah.
The Talmud and the Kabbalah. They're Kabbalists, man.
That's it, man.
Well,
Genesis 9, I was skip around a bit.
they have disdain for the Most High, and that's what you're gonna find out, that they really have absolute disdain for the Most High. Hey, Hollywood has disdain for the Most High, and who runs Hollywood?
Yep.
You telling me that these Hollywood movies don't have disdain for the Most High? We're about to go into the Halloween season, and they're about to worship Satan.
Yeah. And then after that, Christmas.
Where's the season dedicated? Yeah, Christmas ain't even. That's a joke. Christmas films are films that are rom-coms.
Yeah.
Them men are not serious about the Most High. Them men are not making films depicting biblical events with any form of respect. Look at that movie they made, Noah. Yo, that film was crazy, bro.
Yeah, that shit was mad. They had fucking rocks and all that running up and hitting people. And
that film was
transforming and shit.
That film was absolutely insane.
That shit was butchery.
Them man ain't got no respect for the Most High. They're not even trying to depict the wonders works of the Most High. They'll rather give you the Marvel era. The Marvel era is then they made a big thing about Marvel and DC, the universe. Which, by the way, in those universe has God in there. But then the God ended up being they had the one above all, which is above God. This is the God of the Marvel universe, which is Stan Lee, basically. The one above. Remember the demons? They don't respect or believe in the Most High, man. Why? Because the Lord condemned them. The Bible condemns them, and they know this. So that's so they view the Most High as an enemy, and they have disdain upon him, and they worship Satan.
It says Ezekiel 28 and 2, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord Jehovah, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, and I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High, behold, thou
Yeah,
art.
they think they got the wisdom of the Most High that they can jailbreak the earth.
Technology.
And then witchcraft, they think, oh, because I worked out some gematria and all these numbers, if we do this on this particular date, yeah, I mean, if we do backward, like I found out that Blue Ivy is like fucking the name of one of Lucifer's daughter in Latin or something like that. It's spelled backward. Oh, if we do all this and we channel this, we'll be able to manifest our own destiny and become gods. No, you won't. I'll tell you straight. Like the idea that you can jailbreak reality and gain the powers of the Most High is absolutely foolish, man. That would make no sense that you could do that. If I just,
And the law will give you access.
if I study hard enough, you know. Like,
It don't matter how many science.
bro, you're either God or you're not, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like something like the Most High, you're either the Most High or you're not. I don't think it's something you go gym for or you study for.
That's why
If I just find the amulets of Ankara, fucking like it's like he thinks he's fucking like
your lips of light, your lips of light, holy grail, something like that. You know that Esau's got a fat, you know, vein port.
yeah, but you know, you gotta try, right?
The Roswell will function of.
And that's all it is. It's desperation, it's arrogance. They gotta try because ultimately the alternative is what? You're condemned anyway.
Anyone that's tried it, failed.
And that's why I don't envy these Edomites, man, because they're in the worst position that anyone could ever be.
Yeah.
You be anything but an Edomite because they're just condemned, man. It's like it's blackness.
Yeah.
It's like imagine being in an abyss of cold blackness. That's what it's like to be an Edomite. No light. Like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just darkness, man. It's like being in a grave. That's Esau. So of course he's gonna just roll the dice, you know.
That's why they're gonna tell you arms too short. The box of God, man. You can't be that, man.
Taking the
The Lord made you who you are. Yeah. The devil, that's it. They're all in the side, isn't it? You're learning you're all in the side. So if you're being destined for glory, you're gonna be for glory, you know?
And if you're destined for doom, like Idumea, then you're free.
That is cold cuts.
It says Sirach 18 and 3 says, who governeth the world with the palm of his hands, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane.
Yeah, the Lord divided the holy things from the profane, man.
Yeah.
Esau's profane, man.
Yep.
And ultimately he's gonna be ejected from the earth, man. So enjoy it while you can, brother.
It's the Most High who controls everything. He's controlling you right now. You know, he's making you think that you're gonna. While he's telling the
MK Ultra, man. The Most High got the ultimate. Most High got the ultimate MK Ultra, man. Yeah, man. They're deceived and the deceived, man. The Most High is the ultimate mind fuck, man. He'll mind fuck you for real, man. He'll have you thinking that you really doing something, man. Like you really, like what Ramsey did to remember what Ramsey did to my man Reek, ended up calling him Reek, you know, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones,
just fucking his mind, man. He had man thinking he was
done.
he had agency.
Lord
Ramsey Bolt.
Lord hit these souls and reality souls. That's it. That's it. It made him think something's going on.
I stand now down in Charles waiting to go to slavery.
Alright, go on.
Back in Ezekiel 28, verse 3, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures.
The Lord displayed gave you certain level of wisdom and understanding to rule the earth, because you're the ruler of the earth right now. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And that don't mean you're going to be the immortal gods of the earth forever. Yeah. You're going to be the eternal gods, and you're going to rule over creation for everlasting time and like that. That's not your lot. You lost that lot for a morsel of meat, man. You gave away your birthright, man. Like an idiot. You sold it, man. So you fucked up your own destiny, man. You was set. Your shit was sealed. Your fate was sealed, man. You fucked up your own destiny, man.
Fuck up. Which you was always meant to be a fuck up anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
But that goes back to the seed of the serpent.
Yeah.
So he was always meant to be a fuck up.
You're a ritual fuck up, man.
You know what I mean? And
Now you're trying to blame the Lord.
but they see they try to point the finger at Jake like we're the fuck ups. No, actually you're the fuck up. You're the ultimate generational.
Yeah.
You fucked up your own bag.
Yeah.
So you talk about get to the bag, get the bag. You fucked up your own bag, man.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to blame us for it. Like, come on, man. Can't do that.
I'm gonna say, speaking about his wisdom and stuff, like a lot of diesel technology ultimately is gonna be put together for his own destruction.
Exactly.
You think about like all of the computers and stuff, the AI is all gonna be used in these last days.
Yeah.
Right? You know, what did he do? They built the plane and it was like, oh, we could put big bombs in these planes. Like, what are you
Jump on
doing?
your own society.
It's like him with the gallows that he built.
Yeah.
The same shit.
Work for his own hands.
Verse 5, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches.
That pride, man.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord Jehovah, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High, behold, therefore I will bring.
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
When they're trying to the Hegelian dialectic and all these different things, that's the Most High's tricks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Order I've killed. That's what the Most High do. So they really think they're the Most High. Like, okay, yeah, we can manipulate and we can play, we can set up nations and have them fight each other, and because the elites of Esau sit above everything. They don't really they're not Democrat or all this crap that they put up. They put puppets up there like Trump and Kamala and start twisting people around. So they really think they're the Most High because they're like overseeing the earth from the ivory towers, man, behind the scenes, on the scene.
Yeah.
Like the on the scene power, the hidden hand.
With
Not
the
knowing
Most High.
there's a hidden hand behind the hidden hand.
Yeah. They're being controlled. They're puppets themselves, man.
Yeah.
And even like they put themselves to be gods, they can cause floods, they can use DW weapons to cause flash floods and burn cities down, by using satellite technology and like they think that they're Heavenly Father because that's the type of things that the Lord does. Yeah. When he's bringing judgment, he sets fires and floods and turns things upside down. So Esau thinks, I could do this in North Carolina, set up a flood so I can go steal the lithium from the land. So that's the kind of power that they think themselves to be a god. That's why they think no one can tell them nothing.
So what did Harari say?
Oh yeah, of course.
That asshole.
Yeah, that's arrogance because they don't have that kind of technology. You know what I mean? It's just arrogance. Like, you might not that.
You don't need the Most High no more.
Yeah, if the Most High tried to flood the earth again, that they'd be able to stop it. You wouldn't. Like, but anyway.
Yeah. He won't do it anyway.
But a lot of people already believe Esau has that kind of power. He got technology, but he's not that good.
This is the book of Psalms 9 and 16.
Like a water, 500-foot wall of water comes running your way. Yeah, you're just gonna be like using technology.
Yeah, we're coming up to the 20th anniversary of the bloody 2004 tsunami, man. They couldn't stop that. Water, water, man. This shit's out.
What's the London when it rains?
Yeah.
A full month of rain.
Yeah, if the Lord opened up the depths now, that's peace. What the fuck you gonna do? Send an email, bro? Like,
earthquake.
Yeah. The Lord just, man, come on. Anyway, go on now.
It's the book of Psalms 9 and 16. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executes. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands.
Yeah, that's right, man.
That's why ultimately Esau is going to be destroyed by his own weaponry. Yeah, which is going to be only that nuclear missiles. Yeah, those ballistic missiles, they're going to be shot up.
Yeah. As they said at the top of that, says the Most High is known by the judgment which he executed. But like Esau and his witchcraft has basically started making it be like all of these judgments of the Lord, whether it be the heavy rains or tsunamis. He's basically that's what he's doing. Is it's global warming. We're the ones doing this.
Like Mother Nature.
It's the Most High judging this.
Even anytime there's a hurricane, sometimes it could be them.
Yeah.
There's been hurricanes before Esau.
Yeah.
But even
You know
if it is them, the Lord made them.
Lord made
to
them.
turn the button on to, make that shit happen, man.
Like he ain't because if the Lord don't want the hurricane to hit somewhere, it'll hit. Like, and that's the thing that. But anyway, let's go, man. Esau, he gonna find out, man.
You remember you had that one politician, that UKIP politician. He says
yeah.
again all of these flooding because of the the MO and then they ridiculed him. It's like nah, but
And secretly they know that he's telling the truth, but they ain't gonna put that on mainstream. You don't want people to think like that. You don't want people to think like that.
It's disrespect to the power, but that's all right. Because when Yahweh Shai comes back here, man will have to respect the levels, innit? And that's how it's going to be. And the people are just going to look back at this time as what it is, a bunch of fools, innit? Go on, man.
Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom.
This is getting ready to happen. This is what you call the War of Armageddon. That's why you got these troops getting sent over there to the Middle East as we speak.
Esau thinks he can control it, but he's gonna find out that you ultimately wasn't the one that was in control. That's what you're gonna find out. That's the arrogance of man, to believe that you're in control. That was the difference between the Jedi and the Sith. The Sith wanted to control the Force. The Jedi wanted to be humble.
Restore the balance.
They were humble to the Force, the will of the Force. That was the difference. You watch the Star Wars, that's what it was all about, man. Anakin wanted to control everything. He wanted to control who lives and dies, and that's how, man.
He wanted to get his wife.
I can't tell man, you said you can't control that, man. You gotta humble yourself, man, and serve. And that's the difference, man. These men are on that Sith, and they think it gives you power.
And they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the depths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas.
So they're going to defile your brightness, meaning your height of, intelligence, your so-called superiority. You're going to come down to the dust. That's what Isaiah 47 is all about. You're going to come and sit down in the dust. You're going to be destroyed.
You're going to know fear. You're going to know insecurity,
intimidation, all of that.
Intimidation. All right, where was we before that, man?
Bible Hub
Bible Hub,
Still in Genesis.
We're going one into that. The hell with Esau, man.
This is all just to prove that you guys ain't of the promise, man. You're not the chosen, man.
But you see, they try to say that Esau, Japhet, and now really what Esau wants to do is do away with the idea of any kind of biblical nationality. So you're just human. If you're even going to be called human anyway. They want to do away with what the Lord created, because then that kind of does away with the Bible. Oh, well, if there is no Edomites, then the Bible's just chatting breeds. There ain't no such thing as an Edomite. That's what Esau wants to do. But guess what? All this folly that you've done, when Yahweh Shai comes and the kingdom of heaven is established, guess what's going to come right back with that? All the different nationalities in their perfection. Everybody's going to know what their nationality is. Everybody's going to, you know what I mean? It's just going to go back to how it's supposed to be. And all this foolishness you've done is going to be wiped away.
What includes and excludes, continue, they say, as known to the Hebrews, were descended, all others, the Mongolians of the Far East, and Mongolia?
Read that again. No, from that part you just read.
All others.
So they're saying that these others weren't known to the Hebrews, so they weren't mentioned in the Bible. What kind of foolishness is this? Go on.
The Mongolians of the Far East and Japan, the American Indians, both north and south, the native of Australia and New Zealand, were naturally omitted from the list.
So said naturally.
So what they're trying to say is the Bible is made in ignorance. The record of the scriptures was made in ignorance. Moses only knew to write about what his neighbor, his neighbor and people. So they was like Mongolians, which them peoples he's mentioned there weren't in that region during the time of Moses. But you see, obviously, when you add it in, and this is where Christianity has a problem. America's a Christian country, yet their science and their knowledge is not based upon the Bible. So then, in order to, you can't put the two of them together. So one has to end up having precedent over the other. And guess what? In American society, science has precedent over the Bible. So now everything starts getting messed up because this is what you end up having to do. Oh, well, because we know the Mongolians were there 200,000 years ago. Well, okay, well, and Moses was this amount of years ago. If Moses didn't mention them, he just didn't know about them. Instead of understanding, actually, no, your assertion was wrong from the very beginning. They weren't there 200,000 years ago. That's all bullshit science. And I could go into a long tirade of all the witches and the warlocks that helped to create that. Okay, Cuvier and Charles Lyell and all these witches, members of Freemasonic fraternities, man, that came up with these cunningly devised fables, man.
It's in Sirach, the 13:23 says about when the rich man speaketh. Right? When we hear Esau talk, we question what he said. The majority of these people, they look at Esau as, oh wise, oh thou wise one. Right? Because like we have that Brian Cox, right? Some
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
I remember watching one of his documentaries, and he's basically
He's a witch.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, he's endued with the powers of speech.
Yeah,
To seduce the minds of people.
Yeah. I remember watching one, and he basically speaks about 4 different things that are all based off of each other. But each of those 4 things, it's like, well, there are several possibilities, but we think it's this one. Then they build on to the next one that's based off of this one. But I'm like, but wait there, what if the first one, your assumption is wrong?
But that's where you go into the whole geological column and how they age rocks. And they age the rocks strata based upon the fossils in the rock strata, but they age the fossils based upon the strata of rock they find them in. The circular reasoning. And then they try to throw in carbon dating, but carbon dating also has a massive assumption in the calculation because you're assuming that you understand the level of carbon has always been the same, which you don't know that. Well, yeah, is an assumption in the calculation, so it's not accurate, and they've proven it's not accurate because they've carbon dated things they know the age of, and it's come up wrong. So this is why they say, oh, well, it's in this strata, the Jurassic. There's nowhere on Earth where the geological column exists. Nowhere. It's never existed. It only exists in a book. The Jurassic. Because I remember when I went on the excavations and it will show you a piece of a strata this big, then a strata that big, and it go, that's Jurassic. And so you mean to tell me in between those 2 layers is millions of years? How does that even make sense? How could that happen? How could a rock layer form and then another rock layer form on it millions of years later without this one being eroded? And it's sedimentary on top of that. Yeah. it's bullshit, man. But because Esau controls the scientific community through the Royal Society, they're able to just push their version of things. And then if you keep repeating it and you make it, big university, big school, and you repeat it over and over again, the average person will just accept it as truth because it's repeated in the movies, in the TV. Jurassic Park, you watch Jurassic Park 1,000 times, you start believing this is, the Jurassic dinosaurs. Ages. Yeah, you start believing in it. It's Fred Flintstone. You grow up watching the Flintstones, so you believe in the Stone Age. Yeah.
I think about like the old caveman stuff, and I'm like, right, Esau actually put that whole science together to hide that he was in the caves and less than 100 years ago.
Evolution, Darwin is still
and the thing is, just because you had people that living in a cave doesn't mean everyone on the planet at that time lived in a cave. You got people that live in trees.
Yeah.
So if I go and dig up a place and there's people living in trees, that means they were in a tree age. It's foolish.
You got Jake still living in the Amazon to this day.
Yeah, like
deep in the Amazon. Does it mean, you know what I'm saying? We're still in the same timeline.
Yeah. Esau's constantly lied. I could pull up stuff where Esau's lied and fabricated shit. And anyway, that's why he said that his right hand is the right hand of falsehood. He's a liar, man. Charles Darwin, a liar.
Yep. Darwin is a good one. So Psalm 58:3 says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
Yeah. They're lying, man. That's what Esau does, and they push it down your throat with the media. and with these intelligent people. And people need to remember that just because someone has a position of intelligence doesn't mean they don't have an agenda. Just like you can get a doctor who's smart when it comes to the medical industry, but he could create something that's going to kill you because he has an agenda to kill you. But you see what I'm saying? He can have an agenda. You know what I'm saying? You can have an agenda. And people don't realize that. Like we all went into last week, the Bavarian Illuminati. Who were the members? They were all scientists.
Yeah.
The
Philosophers,
chief
top
people.
people of the earth. Yeah.
So if they have an agenda, these people think their agenda is truth. Their agenda is not truth. They just have an agenda. And if lying to you achieves their agenda, they will lie.
Your agenda is to hide the truth.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so carry on reading over there with the Mongolian thing. So they according to the Christian studies, the Native American Indians were not a part of any nation found in the Bible.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. There's no sense. I was going to say,
Now, what would Vocab have to say about that? But he wouldn't care. He wouldn't care. Because the only thing Vocab cares all about is that the system of white supremacy reigns supreme. He don't care, like, he wouldn't really care about, well, so what?
I don't know if you see the latest video.
Jesus.
See him interview some idiot talking about all biblical, basically, what was the heading? Possibly it's hard to take the video. But basically, he's talking about how not every precept in the Bible is allegoric. Because he was trying to say Daniel was never in the lion's den.
Who said that?
Some nigga, man.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the video that-
Yeah. Daniel was never in the lion's den. It was allegoric. Basically, it was just a situation that was describing something else, but that's why he written like that. That's why it was wrote like that. Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego was never in a furnace of fire. It was just a certain furnace of affliction. Something else. Like you just
Nigga,
Imagine
you're
that you got
allegory,
to
man.
kill them,
you're a
man.
fucking allegory, man. When you see them chariots in the sky zapping your ass, you're gonna see if the allegory is real or not, man. Stupid nigga, man. And then you had the other nigga on a response in the web chat, and he's like, "Yeah, I could believe that, man. I could believe
Yeah,
that."
but
And
you know
he's
the
lighting
funny
the blunt.
thing is about Vocab don't believe that either.
Yeah,
That's the
Vocab
funny
is
thing is
fucking-
Vocab don't have no belief in anything miraculous in the scriptures. He don't.
He said Adam and Eve was basically Adam was Adam,
Oh, okay, let's
and
carry
Eve
on.
was made in the evening.
Yeah,
Oh, bro, what?
can't deal with that.
What?
Bro,
On the whole, getting vexed.
Yeah, we can't deal with
You
that.
have to kill these
The
niggas.
worst
man.
thing is when they start getting like semantical,
Yeah.
the English version of the name. When the English version of the name only just means anyway. Go on, let's carry on, man.
But this is all these mad wayward philosophy
you come up
coming
at
out.
6 p.m.
Yeah, man. That's why you have to be careful, man. But you gotta leave the
The crack alone.
yeah, man. You gotta leave the cocaine alone and leave the truth to the professionals, man. Get the Bible down, man.
That's the new shit they be
You gotta
smoking,
not
man.
be
That shit,
playing, man. Trying to open up these books.
no,
Like they can just say anything.
William said, the crypto chronics and shit.
That's spice. Anyway, go on.
Extra spice, bro.
That's the last.
Wow. Yeah, go on.
For others, the Mongolians of the Far East and Japan, the American Indians, both north and south, the native of Australia and New Zealand were naturally omitted from the list.
They were naturally omitted from the list. So these people are demons, man. So if we go back, also we get Deuteronomy 32 and 8. If we go back into the book of Genesis, man, like I said, there was no people that were omitted from the list. All peoples during the time of Moses were dwelling in that one landmass. Even when you go down into the time of Hosea the king, they were part of that same landmass. They might have migrated further east because people obviously start migrating further and further east, but that landmass was all the people. So when it starts speaking about leaving the multitude of the people in Second Esdras, it's talking about leaving Asia, Europe, and Africa, which is where the multitude of the people are, and going over to a landmass where there ain't no people, which is North, South, Central, and North America. Which, when you break it down, they went to South America first and migrated upward, like we said.
That's why it's that's why the colonizers knew where to go. That's why Christopher Columbus, he knew that to go to that Hispaniola area to go and conquer the tribes over there first.
Wow.
According to the scriptures, that's where they went. Under the Horn of Africa and all that.
you know, and then he went upwards. You know, that's how they went.
Basically, he's saying it's not biblical to say everyone holding this fucking Balaam.
What who said that?
Some Bible scholar. So there's a guy called what's his name?
I thought it
Oh,
sounded like
read
a
it.
comic book.
Oh,
No, it's a Bible scholar.
Yeah, go on.
Some so-called Bible scholar and the blue letter. He basically says the take.
No, I'm talking to the brightness is right down.
He says the table. So this Scott, the so-called scholar says the table of nations gives no hint of any Negroid or Mongoloid people. Suffice it is to say.
So this is written back when they didn't even want to accept that the Canaanites and them would have been Negroid. The Egyptians would have been Negroid. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, man.
There's
Esau,
no chinky
I told you, it's white supremacy, man.
He says, suffice it is to say that the effort to derive the races of the entire world from Noah's sons of the table of nations is not necessary. It's not necessary from a biblical standpoint.
It is. Listen, all of the variation we see today came from those three men, and it's entirely possible if you understand genetics, right? Genomes, just like, okay, give you an example. Breeds of dogs. There's lots of breeds of dogs that exist today that never existed 100, 200 years ago, and there's massive amounts of variation. But they came from a smaller group of dogs with a larger genome, because within your genome you can have the genes to express a phenotype that you don't express at that time. Yeah. So I showed you this anyway. Esau's a demon, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was watching a documentary on Netflix on dogs, and on what you said, I think that it's like really recent history that you've had this big growth of lots of different
lots of dogs, and they can vary, but they came from. If you trace it back, they came from a small group of dogs. But Esau, yeah, go on.
There's mad. That's what you're saying.
White supremacy, man.
We need not adopt the view that has sometimes been expressed that these three sons were black, yellow, and white. He says if they were so, what were their wives? Rather, we would say that, and these six people were all genes which have separated out into the modern races.
Yeah, which is correct. Which means they would have been brown still.
Yeah.
They still would have been a people of color. That's why we don't have to put a gene. You know, if one was Negro, they were just people of colors with a nose, and because even if you look at it, look at the Aborigines, right? The Aborigines, they got like Negro features, but straight hair. Yeah. You got Elam that's dark skin, Elam that's light skin. If you really look at dark and light, all nations have dark and light.
Yeah.
All nations have a variation in skin color, just that some people might have more of a dark than the other.
Yeah. There's only one nation that doesn't have no.
There's not exactly Esau, Edom.
That's one.
So you know, you could find Hamites with so-called chinky eyes.
Yeah.
You certain Jake with chinky eyes, that's dark skin.
Yeah.
So there's all different variations in the earth, man. But Esau tries to put everyone in a box, man. He did that really.
Yeah.
You know.
He's trying to say, he goes, Shem may have had the genes for kinky hair and yellow skin, Ham for white skin, and mongoloid eyes. It's madness.
But this is the problem with Esau, because as we're going into, right, he's provided no evidence of this. These are assertions, what you refer to as an assertion. We need not accept.
Yeah.
He's telling you what to think.
Yeah.
Right?
Madness.
Yeah, it's like the nose. Not every Jake has a nose like KRS-One.
Bro, no.
Jake have got all different type of noses, man. There's Jake with straight edge nose. Even if you look at, I used to work with one woman, right? She was a straight up Ethiopian, yeah. Bro, her hair was jet black and long like a Native American Indian, like, and her nose was thin, but she was dark like this, brother. So what's that then? You know, you just get different looking, man. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Yeah, it's mad, man. He goes into natural selection and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, fuck that dude, man. All right, so let's go back to where he was in Second Esdras about them leaving the multitude of the heathen.
Back in Second Esdras 13th chapter, and verse 40. These are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among
The
them.
waters they carried over was the Euphrates, was it? It's the river down there.
Yeah, I think Euphrates. So let me
Euphrates.
pull up the map.
No, I think that's right. Euphrates. So you have to cross over the Euphrates to get into. Yeah, go on.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
Like we already thoroughly explained, that multitude of the heathen represents the people of the so-called old world, Asia, Europe, Africa, because it's really all one landmass that everybody was living on, and we're connected in. Well,
And
That was
no, not Pangea, but I'm just saying that, like now, the way it is now, that where they landed in the so-called Middle East and they spread out, it's all like that one pretty much big landmass that we've separated into three, but they're all connected.
Yeah.
But there's one landmass, well, major land, not one, there's also Australia, but they didn't go Australia. There's one major landmass that isn't connected. That's America. It's not connected to you. You can't walk from Europe over, you can't, they had no connection. If you look at the stories in the Bible, it's all surrounding the
Yeah.
same area.
Yeah.
Even Paul went over onto Tarshish, but that was later. But Tarshish is still Europe. It's all connected. Greece, it's across the waters, like it's close.
So you had Abraham, the Chaldees, he walked from there all the way to Egypt.
Yep.
He walked through them.
Oh, and all these places originally bore that name. They bore the names of these peoples. That's why he's mentioning Mongolia. It's not no name in the Bible because those people weren't there. And it was no Mongolia. They moved over and then called themselves Mongolia. It was really Moabites.
it says, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a country where never mankind dwelt.
Right, into a country, a landmass, where it's got a Sarif, right? Where another land, it's another landmass. Yeah, it's another landmass. It's not connected.
Yeah.
It's a completely different landmass. Right?
Where never mankind dwelt. That they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
So they went over there thinking, oh yeah, we ain't gonna be around the heathens no more. So we can keep. But then man, there was man that went over there that took the idol worship with them. And then they just started going into madness, man.
Snuck it in the luggage.
Yeah, they took it with them, man, and they started doing madness. But there is records of them, doing up the sacrifices, keeping certain customs, the fringes and all this. Of course they did. You know what I'm saying? Even down to the Sabbath they were keeping. What's it called?
Land Sabbath.
Lamb Sabbaths, but there was something else they were doing. Oh, they recorded last lunar stones. So they actually recorded, and there was a lot more writings. Esau destroyed a lot of their temples and a lot of their writings when he went over there and conquered them. Even if they said the Native American Indians never had no written. But our people are always writ, man.
Yeah.
We've always been illiterate.
Yeah, and drawing and all of that. Like Jake always liked to draw themselves.
Yeah.
To make,
He had that. Esau destroyed all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because even that's where Glenn Beck,
he found
he
some
brought
of
up the
them.
lost lunar stone, and he said, "Look, it's natural. It's Hebrew. When you turn it upside down, it's written backwards."
Yep.
And he see because they had all that.
Yep.
Some of them think Esau's got in his little his storage, in his artifacts, and they don't let no one see that shit unless you get
Jake
very
over the time period were going off.
Yeah.
They started doing madness, man, as per usual.
in that book of James Adair, 30 years of Native American, and it says that they were speaking Hebrew in that book. Right? It says that they wrote Hebrew. They kept the Sabbath day because he observed them for 40 years, and he said like the customs that they're keeping is like the Israelites of the Bible.
But it goes to show you that Esau's an asshole, because it's like, how can you be building the kind of structures that they were building, but they're illiterate?
Yeah, they built pyramids.
Yeah,
Mexico, all that.
Yeah.
Same like in ancient Egypt.
And I mean, it's not a history that I know too well, but it's like you hear certain of the stuff that were in those pyramids, and it's like, nah, this was perfectly fit and put together. Right, but they were illiterate.
They didn't have no intelligence.
Yeah, because Esau always has to
Savages.
he has to paint you in a certain way so he could be superior. And that's just how it is. That's why the whole mud hut thing. Dealing with mud huts. But Esau has to do that, man.
Yeah.
He's the only one that has to do that. He's just an asshole, like the brother said. There you go. That's a good point.
And they entered into into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. Yeah. But the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Yeah, the flood was like under the whole of Africa, that part, that region. And they traveled, upwards up to, South America parts. Yeah, that's how they traveled. So the Lord held back the storm so they can, travail through that rain of water.
But through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
Yes, and where they went was a long way on the ship. That was over to the Americans.
And that in the history, time of King Solomon, before the split, he had men, merchants, sea merchants, go over there, the Zidonians and all that, go over that same region.
Yeah.
And it was just about the same time of what, a year and a half there and a year and a half back. So they knew that history, a little bit of that history, man. King Solomon was sending merchants over there to get certain resources and all that. So that was an uninhabited land. It was major in resources, man.
Oh.
Exotic animals, peacock, all that stuff.
Oh,
Land of Ophir. That's what they call it, the land of Ophir.
Argentina's silver.
Best gold.
It's
Yeah.
called silver.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, the Port of Riches.
Yeah. So they knew that history,
I
man.
said, yo, Port of Riches.
It's never inhabited like that.
Esau was pulling massive amounts of gold out of the New World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know them. That's why even to this day it's lucrative to hunt down these shipwrecks.
Millions.
And that's just the shipwreck. So what was they? That's why, like we were speaking to about last week. That's how a lot of these nations were just doing very well, mainly just because of just pilfering the resources. But once them resources stop coming, you see how them man have gone all the way down. They're down bad. Look at Spain. So they weren't getting all that free gold. Now you find out that you're not industrious, you're really a bunch of waste, man. Only thing you got is a few ballers, and the ballers are really coming from the South America.
Yeah.
You know? Well, fuck them too, man. They treat I've seen it, like I've spoken to Spanish people and they consider basically South Americans to be criminals.
Yeah.
That's the way they speak about them here, they're just criminals. So you Negroes that you think you're the only ones that get a bad rap. But remember that we live in a different world to them.
Yeah.
So it's like whoever conquered you, you kind of have that relationship with them. So you don't really see like Negroes from the Caribbean or from America going to Spain. They don't have that relationship. They don't even speak the same language. You more like go Britain. Or the French Negroes might go like Henri. Henri's parents come from Martinique, and so they have that relationship. Oh, the French are racist. But you don't really have an experience with the Spanish because you won't really be around them much. But the same way we get treated by the English, but that's how they treat the Mexicans and
Like even like you spoke about last week, Uruguay, like again where Suarez and that is from.
Yeah,
like,
racist as hell, man.
Level, bro. 100%.
to the highest degree.
100%. That's 45. Through that country, there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsalah.
Yeah, the word Arsalah means another land. That's where they go.
That's what the Americas is. It's another land.
To this day.
And Esau went over there and met our people there, man.
Yeah.
And put them in slavery, conquered them, put them in slavery because they were under the curses, man. Under the same curses. And you see these boneheads, but the Brazilians, they got their own country. We ain't got our own country. That shows you how retarded you are. You have no idea. The actual Brazilians, they don't run or control anything in Brazil. And I was reading I did the research myself. Go type in top 10 richest families in any South American or American country, and you will not find any natives whatsoever. They'll all be Spaniards or Germans or whatever. They don't own and control their own countries. In fact, let's talk about Mexican Independence Day. Mexican Independence Day is celebrating the Spaniards that were born in Mexico, who are now Mexican, getting their freedom from Spain. It wasn't about the natives being liberated from the Spaniards. No, you had a whole class of Spanish people that were born in Mexico that were no longer considered Spanish, but they were still having to pay tribute. So they were like, hold on, you over there, you ain't doing nothing. We're over here, we're growing, we're doing this, we're reaping the gold, and we're just sending all this shit over to you? They were like, nah, we're going to renegotiate terms. We're going to be independent. Ain't no different to what happened in America when the British then got independence from England.
Mm.
So you think, oh, the Mexican Independence Day is a celebration of the. It's not a celebration for the natives, even though many of the natives probably indoctrinated to celebrate it because we're Mexicans now. Mexico is not an indigenous thing. Mexico is a set up by Spaniards, and to this day, you will find the richest of them, the people controlling it, are really Spaniards. Cortez, their surname's Cortez and all that. Man.
Because isn't the bottom part of America, isn't that didn't that used to be Mexico? Like the
Oh yeah,
bottom section.
and it was owned by the Spanish.
Right, yeah.
The Spanish conquered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people that say them things, they speak in ignorance. The people of the favelas are mainly Negro slaves and indigenous Indians that came off the plantations. So no, the so-called Hispanics don't own and run and control their own countries. That's a lie. They're under the same curses. They're under the same curses, man. They don't own their shit.
Yeah.
They were conquered, man, and colonized. Yeah. But then they won't say that Jamaica is what about Jamaica? That's a black country. The Caribbean islands.
Gucci Banton was talking about the Maroons. He was talking about the Maroons and how they gained their independence.
Yeah, there's a section of the Maroons that got gained their independence by enslaving other Negroes.
Because he said they had to war for 8 years, and after 8 years, you could gain your independence. Basically.
Yeah, there's a segment of the Maroons that the reason they were gaining their independence because they were working with the British, and they're still working with the British to this day, and they were allowed to have independence because of that. So like, don't believe all that Maroon propaganda. Like, a lot of them Maroons were catching slaves and returning them back to the fucking slave masters, man. Yeah. But anyway, let's where was we? All right, so we've covered that. We can go back to what point you wanted to bring out about they moved in. After they moved them out of the land, they moved a bunch of heathens in, and that was the beginning of how you had heathens dwelling in the land of Israel. You know, because that was really the beginning of that. Because what remained after that was really Jake living in the southern kingdom, and then the northern kingdom is now inhabited by heathens.
Yeah. And there's curse. That's when those curses started to come through as well. You know, because one of them heathens was in the land. That's when a whole bunch of curses came upon them. Yeah.
So, 2 Kings 17:24 says, and the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cuthah and from Ava and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof.
Right. And so then when you go fast forward in history and you hear about the Samaritans, you understand why, because the Samaritans were mainly the descendants of heathens, plants that were put into the land. But we're going to find out that they were in some ways keeping our religion because of this. Read on.
Yep, it says, and so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord Yahweh. Therefore Yahweh sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the sea of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land.
There you go.
Just like today.
Yeah.
You got Esau and these other nations
The
in the land.
yeah.
The Lord's, that's why I said the land's cursed.
Yeah.
There's not going to be no peace in the land because they're not the original inhabitants, man. They don't know the ways of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. They're keeping their own wicked ass customs there. Like that. Look at Tel Aviv, man. That's the biggest, gayest city on the planet Earth. To this day, man.
Yeah, tattoo, international tattoo. Bro, yeah, and basically it's a crime hotspot. And a lot of the pedophiles, when man get caught on some pedophile thing, they go to Israel, man. And they're chilling there. Yeah, they that's where they get asylum. Yeah, the place wicked as all hell. That place, and even in the Palestine, that's why really not just now, throughout the whole time that the Israelites haven't been there, ever since we got kicked out, there've always been wars and craziness going around in that particular region. And it's like, Why? Because of what we're reading. So the Palestinians, there's lions being sent among them now.
Yeah.
Them lions is real. They're not really
Hair
lions. They're like
Hair
oversized rats.
The hair track.
It's like oversized rats with technology.
Yeah.
And they're like forming them from the sky and all that stuff, and they're all bare barling. And all that. Well, a lot of that is going back to the fact that you're worshipping idols and in the land, man. So they're coming like a punishment to you, and you like a punishment to them, and so you're going to destroy each other. Yeah.
And then the city of peace is going to return.
Then the real Israelites that worship the Heavenly Father are going to return, and we're going to possess the whole land, because we are the chosen people, and we are superior, and we were meant to dwell alone in that land. Thus saith the Lord. You know? All right, where we at?
The book of Isaiah, man. 2 and from the top. The word of that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Right, that mountain represents the government, which that's the 144,000, beginning with King David and Yahushua the Overlord. Yeah, that's the government that's going to be put above all governments. You know,
After the smoke is clear.
after the smoke is cleared, we're going to be above all these nations, man. But we're not involved in World War III.
Exactly.
And we ain't got an army. We haven't have an army that's going to fight in World War III either. That's beautiful, right? We're the proper outliers. We're the man no one ain't looking for because we don't have no skin in. Like, we ain't got nothing, man.
We're less than 2000 and whatever. I don't know, we just win the league. You know
We
what?
ain't We ain't got one tank, man. Between the whole 144,000, not one tank. We ain't got no army, no nothing to speak of, man. We just got scriptures. And they still hating. Vocab said we're invading, and all we got is Bibles. It's crazy.
Yeah, you would think, because there's even been people that have interviewed like ex-IUIC members or whatever that have even interviewed with this guy, man, this vocab guy. And I remember one guy, he was basically saying there is some good things, man. It's like you see, like, you know, blacks and, you know, Latin Americans and maybe just getting together and it's peaceful. But we get together and we're peaceful.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, that should be a
It's an
good
invasion.
thing.
It's an invasion.
You know?
No. What them JOOs is doing over
that's
there
an
in Lebanon,
invasion.
that's an invasion.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. This guy, but he ain't got nothing to say. He ain't got nothing to say, man. He still ain't got nothing to say.
They were blowing up phones. And I was really thinking about that. You know how it is, your childhood, just children love when you're playing with
That
the
happened.
phone.
Well, man's are driving cars at the time and doing all sorts.
And I just can't get the ego.
Hella reckless behavior. But you know, Esau's allowed anyway. He has always been. Yeah. Go on,
And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it, and many people shall go and say,
all nations are going to be under our empire. The world is not going to be split. It's not going to be a polarized world anymore. All nations are going to be under our rulership. The Israelite court will be the highest court in the world, where justice will be served. You know, justice will be guaranteed. You see, on the Esau's realm, everybody knows there ain't no justice. Everybody knows that it's bare like bribery. It's the house of bribery and the political agendas. And the worst thing about it is Esau's showing and proving that. Here we have the British, who are supposed to be stiff upper lip, human rights, everything, and they're supporting what's happening over there in the state of Israel. Unequipped, just straight up like we're supporting this, like human rights violations.
I was gonna say the system is spot because all the banks are funding like them companies, but they're trying to come and say, oh, the angle they're coming from is we just fund the UK arm that defends NATO. We can't then control what the government decides to do with the money we're giving them.
Even the UN is calling for here it is. The UN is calling for a ceasefire. The ICC, the International Court, is saying that it's a genocide. But then, so the whole thing is confusion. Yeah. The whole situation, the whole system is confusion. In our world, there ain't no being no confusion. Right or wrong. Judgment. That's it. No favoritism, none of that bullshit, man. If one nation took land from another nation, they're gonna have to pay for it according to righteousness, man. And that's that. And we ain't gonna care who it is or whatever the case may be. And that's why it's going to be a better world where you could trust in judgment, trust in justice. In Esau's world, you go through the court system, man.
Well, it's all kinds of, all kind of holes and slipperies. The kind of BS you can buy your way out of.
Yeah.
You can't do that with the scriptures. You can't buy your way out.
And I think about regularly the account with I forgot that king, but the whole story about Esther, right? Where it was like, because it was written, it's like, look, it's written. And it was like, bro, in Esau's role, he doesn't have his word. Word.
Well, they're hypocrites, and the whole world is seeing that they don't live by what they say.
Yeah.
They are the ultimate hypocrites, man. They will say they stand for human rights. Oh yeah, look. In fact, they defined human rights. This is human rights. We're the first people in history to have any morals because we're white, and we've said that this is human rights, what everyone's entitled to, and we stand by it. And God damn it, we'll blow your country up to make sure that the human rights is there. And then it's like, okay, well, your man over there is committing human rights violations. Everybody's like, what about all that? Are they committing war crimes? Well, actually, I think no one is in a position to judge what is a war crime. Wait, hold on, like, no one can't judge who's committing a war crime or not.
Israel has the right to defend itself. That's what they say.
Israel committing acts of terrorism. There's no idea for terrorist group. Oh, well, October the 7th. That's what they say. October the 7th.
Proves their case.
You saw the interview of Pierce and Loki. Loki got into him, bro. And then Loki exposed him, said, you're employed by Zionists. Pierce face.
Oh, even the JOO woman.
Yeah.
When he hit her with the funding, she was like, what? What are you doing funding?
So I got a paper here. I got BB's signature.
And then someone pointed out that as soon as he brought it up, they
put the
zoomed
camera
out.
Pierce's face just went red when he said,
you're compromised.
By the Zionists.
But he doesn't tell me what to know. He 100% does. There's no way I'm going to be paying for someone to broadcast and they're going to do anything against my fucking agenda.
No, but like, we know how things really work under the hood, but there was one of these reporters that has quote unquote changed, and it was basically saying how what the agreement would be to get that inside story, right? You had to be like on par with certain mans in politics and government, whatever, what have you, and then they would give you certain access. As soon as you start not speaking the way that they want you to speak, you lose all of that.
Because it's all scripted.
Exactly.
Everything is the way, even whether it's left-wing media or right-wing media or alternative media. If you're seeing it on a mainstream level, that's because it's scripted and what they want you to see and how they want you to see it. Just like Candace Owens, like I said, I agree with a lot of what Candace Owens says. She be on point like a motherfucker, but guess what? She's been set up because they purposely positioned her to be the type of person that black people hate. So when she says these things, black people will be like, well, if Candace Owens said it, so fuck it, and I don't want to hear it. That's why she's allowed to play that role now, because niggas are just not going to listen to her anyway, because they already built her as that character.
And then
they do the same thing. What's her name? Hopkins.
Katie Hopkins talks a lot of shit.
She said Starmer's gay. He's a batty man and all that. Picks up the batty from.
But they're not going to hear her because she's racist.
Exactly.
And, this is why they set these characters up.
It's part of the propaganda, part of the machine. It's sort of like, once again, they set up your Davidites or whatever, what have you, because it's a way of controlling the truth. That's why it's funny, because it's called InfoWars, right? Because then basically you'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting. Is it true? Oh, where did you hear it from? And then it says it'll be like a red flag in the Matrix. Oh, no, can't believe that.
He's an absolute demon, but then he'll say things which are correct. But then the reason they're having him say it is because now you get to, if you say that, you're now attached to him and all the other foolishness he does himself. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, fucking, I hate that dude, man. He's such an agent. They returned the other day that they returned all of his supercars and his 40 million money. And I'm like, bro, can't you see this man's a fucking agent? That just shows you the whole court case was a staged event. But you're telling me that the elites couldn't just disappear this guy? The elites, in Romania, they couldn't find something on him that sticks, even if you made it up and just disappear him.
Well, he already told you Romanian police is corrupt.
But they're giving all of his supercars and all that CIA shit that they
Yeah,
gave him to
yeah.
keep his character going.
Yeah.
They're giving it back to him, innit? And he's
Well,
all
watch it.
celebrating the victory. It's like just like Trump, innit?
Yeah.
Fake court case.
Fake assassination.
Anyway, let's keep it. Yeah.
Shoot,
The
shoot,
scriptures speak
shoot.
about the hypocrite. Esau is a hypocrite, and the thing is, when you live in a world where you're being ruled by a hypocrite, it's messed up because the man don't stand for nothing.
Yeah.
We stand for women's rights. No, you don't, because your women's rights is bullshit. Children's rights, well, you're killing children in the womb.
Yeah.
So where's the children's rights? Everything is just a hypocritical
Mirage.
stance, man, and a mirage, right?
Turning the children into teas, man.
Yeah, they're like,
Cutting up
yeah,
the
they're
rush.
mutilating the children.
Yeah.
It's BS. And the same man telling you about women's rights of running the sex trafficking. It's just
Yeah.
bullshit, man. Andrew, Prince Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bullshit, man. It's hypocritical behavior.
Mhm.
Going up.
As goes on to say, and the many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power.
So
of
that
Jacob.
means that we are going to be the center of civilization. The mountaintop that everyone looks up to and goes to on pilgrimage and come back. We are going to be the center of civilization. See, Esau tries to be that center that everyone looks to. Everyone traveling to New York, traveling to Washington, D.C. They're sending their children there to learn the learning of Esau.
Yeah.
Because Esau set himself up as what? The center of civilization. Well, I wonder what the white man thinks.
Everyone has to go to him for answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
He's
it's
government.
corruption
Exactly.
and it's destructive.
And then those people go back to their homeland and they bring that wine with them.
Yeah.
You know, like Awal always speaks about how you can have a degree in your own country, but then you go try to bring it to the West. I'm like, nah, we don't accept that. Yeah. And we, certain of us, I think I grew up. I think the four of us maybe grew up outside of the UK, and
Slightly.
slightly, but it's like we experience schools back home and we experience schools, and they're a lot better.
Yeah.
You know,
Real
Yeah,
education.
UK
real
education,
education.
yeah, fuck.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's fun. But that's what I'm saying. We're gonna replace that, right? The J-Bubbles are not gonna be that because that's not them. Because everyone hates them. Everyone knows they're unrighteous and unjust.
Yeah,
How can it be them? The whole world knows these men are slimy. They're constantly lying.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be lying in the kingdom of heaven. These men lie. I've seen these man. I've seen them show them because white phosphorus, and they used it again. You're not allowed to use white phosphorus on civilians.
Yeah.
It's an
It's
actual
indiscriminate.
war crime.
Yeah.
It burns people alive. You're not allowed to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen them put man up, have the ambassador on the TV, show them the footage of the white phosphorus landing on civilians. Yeah. And she just gonna be like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't know
I see.
nothing about that. Like, it's like, bro, like
In your face.
these men have lied. Oh, we didn't kill this person. Someone else killed them. Then a year later, oh yeah, we did kill them. We sniped the journalist. These men are constantly lying.
Yeah.
Constantly. Oh, 40 babies beheaded. Lies.
And it was funny because they started the Iraq war. I think the first
Based
one,
upon
Iraq
the life.
Kuwait war, based on like some woman's confession of like they took babies out of
Oh,
incubators.
yeah, and then it turned out to be a lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
live. But then when it actually did come out that these guys actually did that, they said something like those babies left at the hospital, and they said, "Don't worry, we'll take care of the babies in the hospital." Come to find out, the babies all died, right? And then after they found out that they died, they let the bodies rot, and it's just like
Despicable.
Inhumane.
Despicable. Inhumane. But this is Mr. Human Rights.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Human Rights, man. That's what we're dealing with.
Mr. International laws.
These are the people that if you when these gangs drive by and an 8-year-old gets shot at a damn, in a gang shootout, which I'm not saying that's right. An 8-year-old gets popped in the head from an AK. Niggas be just spraying. Oh, these savages. These niggas are savages. But what's the difference between that and you leveling a whole apartment building to kill one man? That's actually worse.
Yeah.
You are acting worse than the Bloods of the Crips when you're engaging in that behavior.
Blowing up hospitals.
oh yeah,
Just think about that.
Shit.
They do a drive-by, they might hit one innocent
One stray
person.
or
Yeah.
something.
Your drive-by is dropping the
Building.
bunker buster on a
Yeah.
whole block of people and just
and then the worst thing is those people there have no way to clean it up. So then imagine you have someone that is alive, trapped in the rubble,
That's what
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
and
saying.
no one can
There's
take
thousands
it.
of people stuck under them
Yeah.
different parts of the rubble.
Yeah.
Still picking them up.
So
That's
imagine
why-
the smell. Imagine
Yeah,
the
yeah,
smell.
That's why they're saying that 40,000, that number's like incomplete. That
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of
So,
thousands.
'cause it's like I was to say, there was a point a couple of months ago where they basically was like, look, they've destroyed the infrastructure to basically accurately record the death. So they basically said after this point, who knows? Who knows? Yeah.
That's what you call a
Yeah,
genocide.
but you know, Jake is violent.
yeah, Jake's the most
We're just
violent
violent,
in the heaven.
and I'm sure the Bloods in the kitchen give you the same arguments you're giving. Oh,
Yeah.
that man came over last night. They shot up the end.
Yeah,
so we're
yeah,
just
yeah.
trying to defend
Well,
ourselves.
that's what they do. We've got a right to defend.
We got a right to defend ourselves.
You're going to be called a gangster and a terrorist.
Yeah.
When Esau does it,
Yeah, it's cool.
he calls him a hero.
Obvious.
It's collateral damage. Well, gangs have collateral
Yeah.
damage, in which we're not justifying the gangs. I'm just showing you Esau's doing what the gangs are doing on a much more
Yeah.
epic scale.
Yeah.
Esau will blow up weddings, man.
I'm sure there's not even been 40,000 gang murders in America.
Oh no, it's not. It's not. I was
In the
about to look
entirety
that
of
up.
the whole American history. Probably not. Esau must be leveling villages.
Esau do that in 3 months.
Yeah. Literally.
I do remember a number like that, but let me try and find it.
But yeah, let's carry on with this while you find that, man. Esau's a hypocrite, man, and the whole world's seen that. But we're gonna be operating different, and these nations are gonna be coming to us, man. They're gonna be under our authority, but they're gonna be coming to us for everything, beginning with righteousness, the law, statutes, and commandments, man. The right way of life, not Esau. Esau is the way, is not the way. He wanna look down on everyone else. Oh yeah, look, over there, they got their women and the women ain't equal and all that. Well, guess what? In the kingdom of heaven, our women ain't gonna be equal either. That's not the right way. Who told you that? That doesn't mean women are gonna be abused,
There ain't going to be no third world.
but they're not
country.
gonna be equal.
Because that's the thing. Esau, once again, we keep mentioning about Esau and his witchcraft and how he portrays things, right? Because he would take one weirdo, right, who was just like battering his wife and then just being like, "This is how it was." And it's like, right,
Yeah,
well,
but man are battering their wife here.
exactly. What they call Stella the wife beater.
Yeah, didn't Prince Charles, allegedly, I don't want to get a lawsuit.
Yeah.
What happened with Princess Diana?
Yeah.
He's whooping her ass.
They, she didn't have the freedom to go and choose. They fucking whacked her, man, and him. He's a hypocrite, man. But they're always trying to act like they're superior, man. They ain't no superior civilization. Our civilization is going to be superior, man. And it's going to be built on morals, man, proper morals that we are going to live by. The same morals that we're going to teach everyone else and enforce, we're going to be living by those morals.
Law and order.
You see the difference?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he said, when you tell a man thou shalt not murder, should you be a murderer as well? When you tell a man thou shalt not steal, should you steal as well?
No.
You gotta be the embodiment of what you represent.
And what's beautiful about it is that we're going to be perfect. So we ain't even going to commit one sin.
Exactly. Which makes us the most eligible to be in that position.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
Like scripture says, in Sirach 10, one that is profitable, and that is the Israelites in the right frame of mind with that new heart.
Righteousness.
Like,
But Esau's he's the murderer, man. But
Yeah.
you look
Yeah,
into
he's the
him.
biggest hypocrite.
But
He
you
say
look
don't
into him
kill,
for
but then
justice.
he's murdering.
Yeah. He's the murderer, but you're looking to him when somebody gets murdered
Yeah.
to bring justice.
Justice.
But he's a murderer his damn self. He's a thief, but you looking to him for justice when
Someone gets
it don't make no sense. All right, carry on now.
And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go and up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways.
Because we're gonna educate these nations, beginning with slavery, of the right doctrine, the right way of human life, the right way. Beginning with thou shalt the laws, thou shalt not murder. There ain't gonna be no idolatry. So you get these guys, they get but listen, no one ain't said the other nations ain't gonna worship the Most High. In the kingdom of heaven, they're gonna worship the Most High. They're gonna worship the Son, rightfully so. They're gonna worship us.
Yeah.
They're gonna worship in the righteous way, because guess what? The scripture says no idolatry. There's not gonna be no idols in the earth. Now, in these times, it's given unto them. It tells you that with Deuteronomy, the The fourth, is it fourth?
The wooden stone.
It's been given on, all these things have been given unto the other nations. Hold on.
It's true.
He said, lest thou look up to the stars and all that
Yeah,
shit.
worship.
Couldn't find any
Driven to worship.
I couldn't find any numbers, just one for 2022. And
Yeah, but it ain't nowhere near. Like,
Yeah, it
the
was like-
gang violence ain't nowhere. The Esau's violence is eclipsed gang
Yeah.
violence a long time ago. We could go back to World War One, World War Two. Jay don't be having real wars. The street warfare doesn't have as many casualties of what you would think.
American independence.
Like the war in Iraq was like 1 million people, G. 1 million. What, you telling me 1 million people have died on the streets of America from gang warfare in the last fucking 20 years? No. Nowhere even near that number. Nowhere near that number.
Even in
Esau
the
is the
last 100.
undisputed fucking king of violence.
Yeah. And then when you compare that to the amount of Jakes that get killed in the womb.
Oh yeah, then it goes on top.
Yeah.
So Esau is the undisputed. This is Deuteronomy 4:19. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. So yeah, it was given unto these other nations to worship idols. But if you go into the book of Second Esdras, 18, where it says, neither have they been from the beginning, neither shall they always be. No, Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, you're right. He was like, what? This nigga tripping. he's like, yo, you tripping, man. What do you mean second Esdras? What's wrong with this guy, man? Hey, I'm only a man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it should be
So yeah, man, like the elders say, all these nations gonna bow down and kiss the ring. And it all starts when Yahweh Shai cuts them crowds with the so-called chariots, man, the so-called UFOs. Eye opener, man. It tells you Wisdom of Solomon, that same book. Yeah.
the idolatry is gonna be extinct, man. That's this age. This is the age of idols. The age to come is everyone's gonna worship the Most High, including the other nations, man.
You're gonna have to.
You know?
9. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are unto Most High. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation.
Yeah, the Lord's gonna destroy all the standing engraven images of the other nations.
That's including all their temples.
Yeah.
Because most of these wonders of the world are temples too.
Seven great wonders.
Yeah, you got giant Buddhas, man.
Yeah.
You're over there in the east. Hey, the chariots are gonna
Zap that shit.
zap that. All that, it's all gonna get zapped, man. In Mecca,
The Andes.
Mecca's gonna get zapped up.
The Cesare Borgia and the Andes.
Oh, that needs to get
That's gonna
zapped.
get both of them
Yeah,
are gonna get zapped.
Yeah, they really need to have a couple chariots.
Yeah. The Statue of Liberty in America, that's gonna get zapped.
Yeah.
Washington Monument, all them idols, man, standing
Oh,
engraven images.
well, we already know that's gonna get.
Yeah, they're gonna be
But yeah, all these really throughout the whole world, there's nothing but idol temples and all that stuff. So the chariots are gonna destroy all of that anyway. Let me get real quick before you finish that. Psalms 22 and 27. All the ends of the earth of the world shall remember and turn unto the Lord, and all kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. For the kingdom is the Lord's, and he is the governor among the nations. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, in the long run, after the elect is delivered and return unto the Lord, then once we're establishing the kingdom, all these other nations are going to be underneath us anyway, and they're not going to be doing their own thing and their own religion, so to speak. There's only going to be one religion. which is the knowledge and wisdom of the Heavenly Father, man. There's gonna be one book. You know, and it's gonna be household. Right now, we know how it is. These men all got their own thing and their own doctrines, and everyone thinks theirs is superior.
Yeah. There's only one truth.
But these men are gonna flip the script. But listen, you got these bowers, man. They die hard for that thing.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be die hard for that thing in the kingdom because it's gonna be
No.
proven that was all foolishness.
Yeah.
When the chariots come,
Yeah.
shit, then they're gonna have their reality check. Like, oh shit, everything we believed in was lies.
Yeah.
You know. And then after that 1,000 years of slavery, it's gonna be beat. They're gonna have that further reality check. Some of them are still gonna be there waiting for Allah, you know. And after a while, they're just gonna have to realize, like, yo, you know what, man? We didn't have it right way. Let's just get down with what's in the book of Genesis and move forward, man, so we could get them crops, you know. Sure.
Because God said, therefore, Wisdom of Solomon 14:11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of Most High they are become an abomination, and the stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
So spiritual fornication is idol worship.
Yeah.
Idolatry.
Yeah, because when you even break it down, right? Noah and his 3 sons all worship the Most High, and then that man went into the way of idolatry, man. So it's gonna go back to how it was supposed to be in the very beginning. All peoples in order worshiping the Most High, and that's how it should be. But it must needs had to be this way in this side of the kingdom to show the fruits of idolatry. What's the fruits of idolatry? Death, destruction. Now in the new world to come, we're going to see the fruits of worshiping Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, which is peace. But humble yourself to the order, man. So you're going to still be around, man. And you're going to get down with the other nations are going to get down with the program. And you're going to look to us as we are, which is the holy people, priests of the Most High, kings, royalty, not on your level. And you ain't going to have a problem with that because you're going to know that's just how it is. These men are on it, they're different. And you people worship celebrities. So you definitely going to be worshiping us.
The celebrities idols.
Yeah.
It's idols, man.
Man, I'm here gassing up the random people and the real man them that's really the sons of God. Like, you're treating us like we're nothing. Man's naming all your sons after Muhammad and that. Like, what's wrong with you? You need to name your sons after me. Now I'm just name after me. I'm just saying these men already put man on the pedestal. Well, guess what? In the kingdom, you're gonna put the right people on the pedestal that belong on the pedestal, which is the children of the Most High.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever.
So what we're saying is right. The idols are not going to be here forever. So what does that mean? All these idols are going to be destroyed and vanquished, and with that, all their wayward doctrines. And there's going to be one doctrine in the earth and one God. And that's all going to be ministered by who? As we read in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, we can go back into it. The children of Israel. That's going to be administered by us, right? The sons of the Most High through our government.
Psalms 102 and 12. But thou, O Yahweh, shalt endure forever, and thy remembrance unto all generations. Thou shalt arise and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor her, yea, the set time is come.
To what? To favor her. But we have the favor of the Most High. We're the favored, and the people are what's gonna prove that is like I said. The more I've been getting into these armies, I'm like, yo, we ain't on no level.
Yeah.
I see what that bunker buster did to Nasrallah, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo.
What you know when the scripture says on getting
I even see it.
Ezekiel 21 about the sword is furbished, polished. When you go into how these, which spirit, because I wanted to go into this, but like when you go in certain of these military hardware, man, it's just like like you had one of these bunker busters, which is really 2 warheads inside. The first one kind of cuts into the building to make like an entry hole. Like, you know, when you're drilling into a wall, you may do, and then you drill into the wall. So that's what the first bit does. And then the next one behind it comes in and does the damage. Yeah.
That
know what
was
I'm
some
saying?
brass hole.
Yeah,
When I see the hole that their bunker buster made,
yeah,
Bro.
it was madness.
bro, it's madness, yeah?
It was mad.
Because like you said, the first one disintegrates the building and clears the way.
Yeah.
And the next one just boom, it's like a big hole.
Yeah.
But I was looking at, I'm saying to myself, rah, we got World War III Armageddon, Battle for the Game of Thrones, and we ain't got nothing on the table for it. But it's meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Because it's the Lord that's gonna go before us to win the battle. It's meant to be, and that's gonna prove we truly are favored by the Most High. Because how the hell are we gonna get out? We ain't got nothing.
No army, no
We ain't got no army. We ain't got no destroyers. We got no submarines.
Yeah.
We ain't got no flipping
No
hypersonic missiles.
no CIA spycraft,
No
intelligence,
satellite.
satellites.
They can't even shoot straight.
We're not all even in the same place. We're not organized like that. We just camps, just spreading. Man are doing their thing. We're not no like actual country or with a military or nothing like that. And yet still the Lord's gonna place crowns upon our heads, man, and put us in authority over the nations. He's gonna deliver us. And that's favor. That's gonna be by the Most High. Whereas it's not gonna be by because we had the biggest gun and we were just blazing out, man, with high caliber rounds.
Yeah.
We ain't even got well, we are the weakest of the weakest. Yeah.
This is 1 Corinthians 1:25. Because the foolishness of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is wiser than men, and the weakness of Yahweh Yahushua is stronger than men. For you see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called.
I could say on that, and it reminds me of the story of like Gideon. The Lord cut down the numbers. And we all know Jake. We all know his feelings.
Really?
Jake, we'll be like, yeah, but do you see what we did?
On a different level, man. Yeah. Hey, the scripture says the Lord delivered us from an enemy that was too strong for us.
Yeah.
We ain't got nothing for Esau and these other nations. Yo, them other nations, I'm looking at this like Elam's military.
Yeah,
It's a
got
serious
stuff.
thing.
Yeah. They got certain weapons.
More.
Yeah.
So basically, all these other nations have got the
They
big
got
thing,
stuff,
and we're just sitting there with Bibles, man.
Well, we're gonna get the greatest deliverance.
So we're gonna get the delivered, man. So that's that favor.
That's it.
It says, but Yahweh chose
And we gonna become the Lord gonna turn us into the weapon. The Lord's gonna turn us. We ain't gonna have to have weapons. The Lord gonna turn us into a weapon. No, the vocab ain't gonna believe that, but that's all right.
For the Most High chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And
Woke up at hope we don't run into Jake in that time.
yeah,
When the Lord starts, endowing certain men with spiritual power, vocab better not be around, man. So he's gonna get hit.
Vocab gonna be around.
You just have to imagine.
He don't have to be around. Vocab, you see, the worst thing is to probably be identifiable in this ministry, because like the elect is onto you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And man's are gonna want their satisfaction. You know what I mean? I know brothers is gonna want their brothers is gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna have vocab for a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna sell him to you.
Yeah.
You can watch him work. Bro, you're gonna be ridiculed before the nation, man. You might even just bring you before the whole congregation and just have you there whimpering. Man, be getting bad. Hey, make one of them jokes again. You know, hey, show us one of them jokes, them parodies that you were making, man. Shaking and shit. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't know.
Hey, we fools account this life madness.
Have man dancing on ants and shit.
They meditate terrorists.
Hey, it's true, bro. Come on, we gonna want our satisfaction, bro. It ain't enough for him to die. We're gonna find him, bro. You gotta come back and be the court jester, bro.
I was thinking, I was speaking with my bud, which got earlier on in the week, man. When Jake laughs at you, man, like as a collective.
Bro, they might just have like the apostles be there eating, and his ass is just in the corner in the cage. You know what I mean? Like, just it was rightfully so. Rightfully so. The scriptures, with the time when we took them kings down, the man's wiping their foot in their face and all that, man. go and ridicule these guys, man, because he was putting hell on us, man.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to rub it in his
Yeah.
face, you know what I'm saying?
Each time
100%.
anyone it does anything and they are somehow associated with it, he's first one to pop up. Vocab.
Yeah, he's a great enemy to us. So guess what, man? He gonna be like hot property in the kingdom, man. Hot property, and I mean property. 100%.
Ooh, I got something.
Him, there's a lot of dudes that we're gonna have on that list.
Yeah.
We're gonna forgive our brothers that's
Yeah.
come up against this, but you actual dudes that names, man, you're gonna have to get embarrassed, man.
This is Luke 17:1. Then said he unto his disciples, it is impossible by that offenses will come, but woe unto him through whom they come. It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he cast into the sea, than he should offend one of these little ones.
You're gonna be writing them raps on the pressure.
Freestyle.
Man, I'll tell you, listen, man, I want a 16 bar, man. Multi-syllables, man. Make it quick.
Oh shit.
You there, rapping bars, man. I want to rip that up, man.
To write in his skin.
Yeah.
Oh,
my goodness, man. Court Jester. Hey, go on.
so if I can grab this. And this is talking about kings, so how much more so someone like Vocab, right? Because Isaiah 49:23 says, and kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth and look up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt,
be a bowing, man. Respect. They're gonna have respect, man.
That's right.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that. They're gonna have that forever anyway. So it's right. They're gonna show him enough respect, and Vocab, he's gonna be one of them. Gonna show respect, man. And that's the all the Israelites too. Even the least of Israel is gonna be showing respect in the kingdom of heaven from the other nations.
I forgot who it was, but maybe one of the elders basically saying how even like you may have an Edomite homeless man, and he'll look down on you.
Really proud.
Oh,
He's not
shit.
black.
yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be bare bowing. Them man are gonna be on there. That's to show respect, man.
It says, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
Yeah, like Kublai Khan, man. You know, you come up in Kublai Khan spot, man. You gotta show respect. The thing go already. Yeah, that's how it's gonna go back to, man. The royal, because we're royalty, man. Yeah, go on.
So Solomon 5:7 on the top. Then shall be the light. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labor. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
Yeah, that make no account of our labors, and that's more than one type of labor. Not only do they not recognize the things we've done in His kingdom, but they don't recognize His ministry. They think this ministry is a joke. They don't account it to come to nothing. Oh, what's them niggas doing? They're just out there with Bibles. Nothing ain't got. Listen, they don't know we're building the kingdom right now. So the kingdom is being built for a temple. You know, they don't understand that. That's why we can be bold, man, because it's really about us. Even when you go into Revelation 7th chapter, it talks about hurt not the trees and the sea, till my servants be sealed in their forehead. It's really about us. The Lord would have done wrap this place up. But the ministry's got to come to fruition because the Lord don't want the least of the elect to be destroyed. So the elect has to be sealed. It ain't about you. If it was about you, the Lord would have already destroyed this place, man. Because this place ripe for destruction. The iniquity is fulfilled, man. What else is going to be done out here? This place is filthy. It's disgusting, man. What the wickedness they've normalized. The wickedness these places normalized is beyond, man. But we're all, the beautiful thing is we can see, and we're almost there. We're almost there.
Curtains are closing. The curtain falls.
Sun is setting on Babylon the Great.
Act 3, baby. Act 3.
Yeah.
The end, man. You know?
And it's that's what the
Extra
precepts,
time.
the precepts, man, they're beautiful, man. You know, they give us this comfort. That's what Isaiah 33:6 says, you know, speaks about these being a comfort unto us. Because you get people that are, they can kind of see, it's getting a bit, as you say, spooky. right? But they've got no answers, so then they just think somehow there's gonna be a way out of it.
Ain't gonna be no way
Yeah,
out.
no.
Listen, these Israelis ain't gonna turn around and say, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
two-state solution." Nah, them man are gonna keep pushing and pushing,
pushing that button.
and then it's eventually gonna go where it's gonna
Yeah.
go. It's gonna do what it's gonna only do, and it's gonna be unreal.
Yeah.
When all hell breaks loose, at first it's gonna be unreal. It's gonna happen so quick.
Mm.
Man are not gonna want to believe it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like how the V thing came,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden man are getting locked out. It's like, yo, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on? Like, but that's how it always is when catastrophe comes.
That's it.
They even show you in the movies. That's how catastrophe comes. Man's are playing, and
Yeah.
then there's an army coming over.
Even like with certain Lebanese man I work with, like, but they were looking at what was happening in Palestine and thinking, oh, like they ain't really touching us. Then they're getting them Beirut's getting bombed, and all of a sudden, man, are like, what? And then the whole reality is just.
I'll fucking grab this
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and see, that's the same way these man over here are gonna be.
Yeah.
It's
Man,
gonna be
man,
beautiful here, though.
man, I was talking about, oh shit, I just got a phone call, my cousin just died. Fuck, like, man,
I better write out.
Yeah.
Hezbollah need new after the pager thing. That man needs some more numbers anyway. So you man better just write it. That's a double entendre. Oh,
This is Second Ezra 15 from Second Ezra 15 from 28. Behold, an horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east, when the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitudes of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble.
yeah, them Arabs down there, and it's a very interesting situation you got down there with these Arabs, because ultimately Arabs, the elite of the Arabs, don't give a fuck about other Arabs. And if them
They're
man
just
can keep
slaves.
making their money, they don't give. Listen, the Palestinians, right? They could have been helped. They could have been relocated a long time ago. There's the Saudis got money, man. Qatar's got money. They could have done been. In fact, if they really, they could have done fucked up Israel together a long time ago. I think Saudi came out and said they're neutral.
Yeah, they were trying to build create diplomatic
Yeah,
relations.
they're saying they're neutral. Do this bullshit. Yeah, but
because they could strangle. They may not even need to physically attack, but they could strangle Israel.
but guess what?
You don't want to. Okay.
It's gonna come a point where everyone's gonna have to choose a side. And this is the thing. There's some men that think they want to ride the fence because they're trying to be strategic with it. But if I ride the fence and let these men just fuck each other up, we can kind of go unscathed.
Yeah.
And then so when the smoke clears, we kind of, because everyone knows that, listen, if this war goes full scale and people start jumping in, it's not a joke. People, I think the average person doesn't understand the ramifications of war now.
Yeah.
This isn't like 1929 or something, like, or 1914. This is a time where these nations possess extreme destructive capabilities. But not only that, we live in more of a global system now, where you're reliant on a lot of logistics and systems running. Like the one guy was saying that basically the threat from the Israelis are saying, yo, we're gonna attack Iran's nuclear power plants, because that's what they are, power plants, and their refineries. Iran's like, all right, cool. Just know if you do that, we're gonna attack all these different oil refineries and that in the Middle East. Now, man said that's just as bad as dropping a nuke.
Yeah.
Because if you attack all these oil refineries in the Middle East, right, and blow them up,
Gas prices.
bro,
It's over. It's the end of what?
bro, like that's a spanner that's just been thrown in the whole world, and it's just gonna completely collapse.
And
Because it's not prepared for that.
And you know, I think some people forget how long these things take to build. So it's not like, oh, there was a power failure, we're just gonna spin it back up. No, when those refineries are down, they're down a very long time, which means that oil prices go up, which means that, like I said in the thing, there's because of what's been happening with the war, there's a guy who gets shipments from Japan in a refrigerated container. And he was saying it used to cost 12,000 to ship from Japan to London. It now costs 24,000. So as businesses, and that's just with the little bit of this skirmish, right? Your cost to import has doubled. So then when it doubles, guess who pays for it? You, the consumer, or he goes bust, you're no longer getting those goods into the country. Right now, imagine what happens if that thing happened. That people wouldn't be, shipments wouldn't be able to happen.
Yep. So they're saying like any guys that roll with Israel and help them,
Forget
they're
about
gonna target their shit. They're gonna target their shit, man. So listen,
Yeah. This is like you said. Just look what's happened to Germany, and that wasn't even. That was just a sanction. Germany not being able to get cheap Russian gas. That's destroyed their economy.
Yep.
So now imagine the price of oil tripling, quadrupling, 10 times in. It ends the world.
man, these men are not ready. They're not ready for how shit can go downhill fast, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it's gonna be. The thief in the night type settings, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, things can get bad quick, but because people are so used to and this slow gradualism, they don't understand how things can just speed up.
Yeah.
You know?
So it goes on to say, says verse 30 says, also the Carmanians raging in wrath. So that's referring to the Iranians, right? You go into where that general was killed was a region called Kerman, which is where this word Carmanian comes from.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says, raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and the great power shall they come, and with great power shall they come.
Yeah, and they do have a some legit military strength, man. You know, because I think a lot of times people think of how it was before, where the real military power, and that's why the scripture says, let the weak say I'm strong, because it's true. Who would think of India as a military power? Even now, you think of India. Exactly. You know what I mean, like, but really they are.
They are.
They've spent a lot of money on their military. They have nukes.
Yeah.
They've got lots of military hardware. You ain't gonna just be able to just fuck with them like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Iran has a fucking staunch ass military, man. You know what I'm saying? They're not like when America invaded Iraq, the first Iraq war. That ain't Iran, man. Them man were using Scud missiles, which is basically when they had America could put their ships off the shore and just bombard them with nothing coming back. They had no air defense system in Iraq, so they could just pummel them from the sky, like, because nothing can't happen to them. And then their aircraft carriers are just sitting there. These men are shooting Scud. A Scud missile is basically a glorified grenade launcher. You just aim it in a general direction and hope that it hits something. Bro, these men have got targeted fucking hypersonic missile systems, but they're not hoping for anything. They hit within, I think, so a lot of them ones hit within 300 meters of the target. Now you might say, oh, 300 meters, bro, if that's a building, so that's a hit.
But even the resulting shock where that's created.
So Iran and these nations, the scripture says, let the weak say I'm strong. These nations, these Arab nations especially, have spent billions. Building, and this is time, they might have horses not so long ago. The Saudi Arabians were rolling on horseback with swords not long ago, during World War. That's why they show you a lot of them Lawrence of Arabia, and them man still got swords and all that stuff. Now they got fucking tanks and fucking
aircraft.
You know what I'm saying?
Because he saw in his pride sold it to
sold
them.
it.
You know, but it's I forgot there was a clip shared in the chat, and it was basically showing like the different hypersonic speeds.
Oh man.
And I'm sure one of the fastest was an Indian one or something like that.
Crazy. Them fucking things are terrifying, because they've broken a sound barrier. So it's just like
you don't even hear this.
It's too loud.
Oh, okay.
It's like a sonic boom and shit because they're breaking the sound barrier, man. So they make a different sound than a normal fucking missile. It's terrifying shit. Bro, that shit's coming at you so fast, bro. It's just boom. It's just, you see it
bro.
You see it in the sky, By the time you've seen it, you've probably been hit because it's traveling that fast.
You saw it the other day with little strikes that they shot onto Israel.
And
the Iron Dome was
some of them were hypersonics, man. Boom, that's it. Like, you're gone.
Oh, and then you know, to prove what we're saying is the bloody what those Israelis all of this time it's just been little shit O'Healy coming from next door, from Gaza Strip,
Yeah.
right? But now
Time
you
to
remember,
get
now you're
targeted.
getting targeted. You remember in the
The man
video,
on the roof. Oh my
we
God!
should go inside.
Get up the roof.
Like that.
It's different. Yeah, a lot of that stuff that has like Gaza, those are on our like basically grenade launchers, man.
Yeah.
Ain't no proper rocket, no guarded, no targeting system. But now when you're dealing with Iran, you're dealing with Hezbollah, they got shit, and then a lot of times they've got different grades of shit.
Yeah.
So the good shit they don't use.
Yeah.
Now they're
Why
starting
would
to
you?
use the good shit.
It's expensive.
So yeah, man, the destructive power these nations have now is crazy. China, India, Pakistan, you name it.
Yep.
They got some real shit, man.
Ready for war.
Yep.
Ready for war, man.
So it says, so I'll read that verse 30 again. So then, no, I finished it.
You want to read your
I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah,
got one more verse.
okay.
Verse 31 says, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in the great power to persecute them, right? Because what was the blessing given to Ishmael? So, well, in it was like, you should be a wild man. You know, so I don't remember. We wild out here, man.
Yeah, they're gonna remember them.
Yeah. Hey, but the Israelis are already figuring that out.
Yeah.
Because you see, in Lebanon, allegedly, them man already got ambushed, and while they were grouping up on the border to incur, them man dealt with them right there and then.
So,
Because Esau ain't the greatest warrior.
well, you just busy
No.
putting on women's knickers, man. You see that video? Nah, that's weird. That's weird. Like,
Listen, them, even though them Israelis is a military nation, I need to remember that there's only it's a country of 9 million people, right? So they have to have everyone join the army, but they're not hardened warriors like that. Them Hezbollah man have been in Syria dealing with, these men are used to policing. They're used to joining the Israeli army, going into the West Bank, and doing what the KKK used to do. You go in, you got the big M16, you drag the family out the house, you beat this person up, break this person's leg, or you're at the border, or there's some Palestinian kid over there, sniper shot his kneecaps. They're not used to actually like having to fight raw man with beards, that really want to kill you. Like they're really. So a lot of them, man, they're not ready for this. Apparently, it was an elite unit they were sending in there too, and they all got dusted. So it's gonna get nasty, man. When them man have to bring it to the ground game, which it also does. The ground game is the great equalizer. When you have to bring it, that's what they found out in Vietnam. The way America went wrong in Vietnam is they had to go to the ground game. Yeah, it's all good when you're in the air and you just drop a napalm, but when you got to put them boots on the ground, and now it's like bullets are flying back at you. Well, a gun's a gun at that point. And it's about who's got heart now. Because I ain't got no heart, man. I ain't sticking my head up for no one. Bro, you sticking your head just explode and shit, man. Fuck that, man. I ain't joining I don't want to fight that kind of war, man. I'd rather the sword thing and all that bullet
skill,
thing,
because
man.
at least that's skill, isn't it? Like you gotta come up close to a man and all of that. You be just walking.
Hey, them dudes are gonna find out, man. It's gonna get bloody, man. When you go in there against Hezbollah, because that's a real army, and they ain't fought a real army in a long time. They have not fought a real army in a very long time. They've just been bullying women and children, basically. And there are a bunch of women and children in the damn army. So it's gonna get serious, man. And I can't wait to see it, man. Go on, shit.
Final showdown. There's a draw of 3 and 9.
The American army is more battle hardened,
Yeah, they're more.
They got more men that's been in the trenches, but not the Israeli army. They weren't in Iraq. They never helped do nothing, man.
They're just a cherry.
Yeah, they were weak. That's why they need America to send the Negroes over there to start getting busy.
But even the American like mercenaries, when they went to go fight in Ukraine, they found out that theater of war is different. You're now dealing in I remember there was like, what did they say? One guy was like, they needed a medivac. And it was like, bro, if you're not in Kiev, you ain't getting a medivac.
They were left out there to dry. And they're coming up against Russian forces. And the beautiful thing is the Russians have used Ukraine as a way to battle harden their soldiers, to get them used to using the equipment. Because war's like anything. It's experience based. You have to be able to deal with the If you could give me a soldier that spent 6 months of war rather than a soldier that ain't spent, he's done a bunch of training, but ain't never spent a day in actual active fighting. The guy that
die today.
Yeah, the guy that's had the 6 months in that situation, he can use his equipment better. Them little intricate things that you learn through experience, you're gonna have them. So the Russian army's getting good work right now. They're getting that sparring.
Yeah.
For when they rolled up in the state of Israel too.
Because Putin already warned on the situation this week regarding Iran and that. Said he told Israel, don't do it. Basically.
Oh,
Don't do it.
Salaki, one last point. I know we're making a lot of points. Like one last one.
Bro, keep,
Those dogs turning, man.
bro.
Those
Yeah,
dogs
that dog, it don't look like it should be that smoky still.
Yeah.
Bro,
turning.
you make all the points you want to make. We're here to make points.
But I don't know if you remember at the beginning of this whole thing, one of the things that Hezbollah warned against was like, look, man, you keep pushing our buttons, right? We've got the internet cables that run through our waters,
Yeah, you say that.
right? So basically, Hezbollah was saying, look, we can shut down the internet once.
What cables?
So most of the internet is connected via cable.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying which particular cable are we talking about here?
Oh, is
Like,
it just
if they
like
cut the
the
cable-
undersea?
Yeah, but what is that global? From one.
Oh, I
from-
get what you're
like,
saying.
where
I
would
understand. Ooh.
Slack it? Where would be affected?
Where
by the
would
cut
be
of the
affected?
cable? That's
It's
what I want to know.
affected. That's a good. I'd have to check.
Yeah, I need to check that too because I don't want to. Oh, they cut the cable, the whole internet. The world's gone.
Yeah.
It was obviously going to be.
I think it will
Regional.
depend on because, like, for instance, it will depend on the infrastructure. So if you,
Elon will be like, yes.
yeah, maybe you would, yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
You're gonna be buying that fucking
So it will
Starlink.
it will depend on what you're connecting to. So, like, for the way the internet works, it's distributed. So you would have, say, let's say, like when you think of Amazon, you've got Amazon Ireland, you've got Amazon London, you've got Amazon Germany, then you've got Amazon in, say, certain of the East nations. So if you, let's say, you're on the Eastern world and you're trying to maybe access a website that is run on the Western world, you may not have access to it because that link may have
Interesting.
been broken. But I'd
Interesting.
have
I didn't
to,
know that.
yeah, 'cause it's all distributed throughout the
Yeah,
world.
them Hezbollah need to do something because they're down bad right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Them man are getting fried, but still.
Them and the Houthis, Houthis won't get them as well. Yemen. Anyway, Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up.
Yeah, that's what's happening. These nations have been preparing for war. They've been building up their weapons, modernizing their armies. And not only that, like the mentally, man have been like growing in hatred.
Yeah.
Mentally, man are growing, which you need that for war. Like, and the thing is, it's like a tit for tat because on both sides of the thing, man are getting more angry.
Yeah.
Like, because when the man blew up all that Nasrallah thing, don't think there's man in Lebanon right now like, listen, we're ready to ride out right now. Even Iran, they were under pressure. When they did that response, because they're trying to measure the thing and think strategic, the people ain't strategic.
Yeah.
That's one fight.
The people don't think they were started protesting saying, yo, what's going on? Like, are you gonna put in some work? And then they had to really, okay, we need to do something. So the people are like, yo, like I guarantee you there's man that's like signing up for the military right now.
Yeah.
Like if we gotta go, we gotta do something. That's what happens, man.
Yeah.
That's why they did 9/11.
Yeah.
When they did 9/11 and blamed it on them Arabs, they had a whole bunch of Edomites and like all them motherfuckers is trying to destroy America, and then he was all, sign me up right here. Pat Tillman, fucking, you know what I mean? Left the fucking NFL, and then they killed him. He left the NFL to join the army because when certain things happen and man get hyped, they want to go and fight.
Yeah.
Well, that's happening, man. There's bare man looking at what's happening in Gaza and all them surrounding countries saying, yo, I'm talking about the little people.
Yeah,
Yo, we want to roll on these, man. They're seeing everything that these Israelis are doing. And really, there's a lot of men that just want to join up and start clapping. Not us, because, you know, we're not about that. We're peaceful men. We abstain from warfare, from violence. Okay? We just read the scriptures, man. I'm just telling you like it is. There's a lot of man in Lebanon right now that weren't with Hezbollah. That's probably with Hezbollah now. It's like, yo, hold on, that man killed my auntie, yo.
Yeah, man, just killed man's family.
Yeah.
Dropped him dead.
And you know, you go fight a man like that, yeah, he gonna
Turn
go
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
on
mad.
steroids. He's on natural,
Like,
natural steroids. It's
Why
over.
would that guy?
Yeah, you
You
see
come
any
to-
small hats, it's over.
You come to see me?
yeah.
Oh, you come to see me?
Yeah, they want to get a piece of these guys.
And they will still.
They're praying that their man crossed. I was watching a video, and them man were like, "Yeah, we want them man to cross over the border. We got something waiting. We've been waiting for them man to come over here.
Yeah.
So they can touch, man. Come. What did that man say? Come. You come close enough to touch. I fucking can put was that Mike? You know the African soldier that put the bullets in his mouth.
Oh, sleep.
Yeah, them crazy Africans, man. Yeah, you don't want to be fucking fighting them in the jungle, man. Shit.
Man.
Draw 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong.
And that's what happens. Nations where you generally wouldn't think is a strong military. In fact, let's do it. Like some of these names you see in the top 20 list of nations, you'd be like, what? For real? Hold on, what's it called? Global firepower, right? So if you look at global firepower, like okay, number one is obviously we all know USA. Number 2 is Russia. Number 3 is China. Now I'm pretty sure if you go back 60 years ago, China wasn't the 3rd most powerful nation militarily.
China really only goes back around to 1970, which is another prophet in
They weren't no powerful nation back then. They were getting bullied by Japan at one point. weren't they?
Yeah, because it was when I forgot the president that was around in the 1970s. But he basically, the US president went over there and he signed treaties that then enabled China to become what it is today. So really, we're only taught, and even then, you're talking China was in poverty, not poverty, but China weren't doing too good even 20 years ago.
Yep.
You know.
So the next one after China is India. Now again, you don't even associate India with being a powerhouse, but according to this, they're the 4th militarily. They're the 4th most powerful nation in the earth.
They got a youthful nation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's South Korea. South Korea is the 5th. They've just surpassed the UK, which the UK was the 5th. They've surpassed the UK in terms of military might. So then you get the UK. Well, there was a point when the UK was probably up
they were
top.
bullying the world at some point.
Then you get Japan, Turkey. I mean, Turkey, like who would think?
Exactly.
And Turkey's one of the most powerful countries militarily in Europe.
Yeah, they're the most, one of the most important in NATO because it's a strategic location, and they got if I'm not mistaken, they've got a large manpower as well, or something like that.
Yeah. So you got Turkey, then you got Pakistan. Yeah, Italy. That's the top 10 now. France 11. So you're getting 3 more NATO dons in there, as you know, as you'd expect. Then you got Brazil. They're 12. Yeah. INO. What the fuck is that? That's not Indonesia, is it? What the hell is INO? I'll look it up. Oh, let me just type it. Let me zoom in on it. I couldn't get that one actually. INO. Indonesia. I mean, what the fuck? Indonesia.
Yeah.
Is on 13 on the list.
Great.
Indonesia. Right. Then you got Iran, number 14. So they ain't even know Germany. Ain't even know Germany. You got Iran, so they're 14th on the list. And notice ain't mentioned Israel yet either. Yeah. Then 15th is Egypt. Egypt is another strong nation in the
strategic.
Yeah.
And if you can say as well, certain of these, depending on who's allied with who, right? There's those Western nations, they're very soft, right? Whereas when we're talking about Iran, when we're talking about Egypt, right? We're talking about certain of these other nations, right? They're a lot rougher people, man. You know? So I think about that Alexander document. What was one of the things he said? Alexander says, but the Medes, they've been living in their fancy palaces for so long. They're soft, basically.
Yeah. So you got that Egypt, then Australia, then Israel. So Australia is more powerful than Israel. Then Ukraine. You see how they've gone down. They're getting because Ukraine was getting boosted for a while by NATO. That's why Russia's like, what the?
Yeah.
Then Germany, then Spain is on number 20.
See?
Yeah, you got Poland, Vietnam, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan is 24. Thailand, what the fuck? Thailand, 26. Algeria, Canada's at 27. So them man are weak. They're all the way down there.
Trudeau and them.
Not who?
Nigeria.
No.
Nigeria.
Nigeria's 39.
Good.
They've gone down. Portugal just going up above them. Yeah, but the point is, some of these nations that you wouldn't expect them to be in the position that they're in. And then collectively, all these nations have increased in power in terms of the military that they have. Like the brother said, in China, what did they have? Going back into the time of World War One, what was China in World War One? What was Indonesia in World War One? What was Saudi Arabia in World War One?
No.
So Joe Freedom.
Yeah, he was reading. Yeah. So yeah, these nations of the pecking order has changed. These nations have a lot more military might than they ever did.
Yeah.
World War II, they never had this kind of might. A lot of these nations, man. They had men, but they never had that type of might, man.
I'm gonna grab this as well before. So Isaiah 9:5 says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire."
They got massive and massive amounts of missiles, man. They've been churning out these missiles of various calibers, and that's why the world is gonna be shaken. It's gonna be shaken, man, because they got all kind of delivery systems. They got submarines. They got, hey, listen, man. And that's before we even get to nukes.
Exactly.
Before you even get to nukes, is crazy amount of destructive power.
I remember the one you mentioned years ago. I think it was like the Onyx.
The Onyx, the Russian and the Onyx, the Onyx weapon.
The way and it said, I remember something like it could take one of them could take down an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, the aircraft carrier killers. They got them.
And then so imagine that's like 2,000. I mean that's 9/11 territory. 2,000 man on those aircraft carrier dead.
And a lot of capability.
Yeah.
A lot of backup for your soldiers gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Joel 3. I'm gonna start from 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong."
Yeah, that's what's happening. We've got nations that were perceived as weak before. They can stand up and say they're strong, especially when they start grouping together. Especially when so you're gonna start seeing that these nations realizing, we gotta group together. And that's what Hezbollah, Syria, Iran, they start grouping together. Egypt probably jump on the bandwagon real soon. But they've been on the sideline for a while.
Yeah, well, those are the four main Egypt, Libya, Persia. Who's the other one? Ezekiel 38. Russia's gonna be a guard.
Turkey.
Turkey, that's the
Go, yeah.
Yep.
Ethiopia as well.
That's
And they're funny enough, they're the ones that's joining like the BRICS.
Yeah.
One of them, the UAE,
Global
Saudi
South.
Arabia, Persia,
Yep.
and all the Iran joining the BRICS. So that's showing you that alliance. It's gonna be with Russia. Russia's just gonna be the main force for all those nations over there to get targeted, man. Israel.
And that's why they have these joint drills together. Over the years, you see these nations having these joint drills. It's because they're preparing to fight together. Because that's what makes NATO effective, because NATO actually operates as a collective, meaning what? If you have a French army and a British army, they all work the same. So they're interchangeable. So you could take a unit of French troops and put them with a unit of British troops, and you're not going to get a clash because they work the same. They have a standardized form, and that's why the Ukraine is basically a NATO army, because that's what they were doing with the Ukrainian army. NATO was training them. So even though they weren't part of NATO, they had all the same capabilities and training as NATO, so that they could be another extension. And that's how Russia's like, what? So now what's happening? You see Russia and China, they have joint exercises. Well, the whole point of the joint exercise is so that we learn how to work together. We learn how to target together and that.
Yeah.
to prepare for what's gonna happen.
Communication.
You know, it's just like when you're in a football team.
Yeah.
You say you got a dead team like Arsenal, but they got
Oh,
you
yeah.
know the hopeful
Yeah.
ones.
Hey, they won
Yeah.
3-1 today.
Don't worry, you might. You ain't got no Champions League, so. But when they go in the training ground, the players are learning how to play with each other. They're learning the patterns of play. They're learning to get the same thing with when you get these nations having these drills.
That's it. That's why, like, before internationals, they'll have like a camp together.
Yeah, they have to learn how to be together because you got to learn the different, like even when you go to a corner, you got to learn how what the signal is for a particular play and all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're gonna be confused.
Yeah.
Real quick.
China and Russia are working real close together. They've been working because they know what time it is.
Yeah.
They know exactly what time it is, man.
It's like they're trying to get Ukraine to corner Russia. They're trying to corner America.
Yeah.
Same shit.
This was an article on Reuters published on September the 25th. NATO plans for large-scale transport of wounded troops in case of Russia war. NATO plans to coordinate the transport of a large number of wounded troops away from front lines in case of a war with Russia, potentially via hospital trains, as air evacuations may not be feasible. The future scenario for medical evacuations will differ from allies' experience in Afghanistan and Iraq. And it says here,
if I can say on that though, it's like when fuel becomes a thing, fuel is a very important thing in war, which is proof that that thing that they say happened never happened. You can just look at how much fuel is needed to deal with that many millions of bodies, right? But fuel is very important in times of war, right? Germany needed fuel at that time, and then basically you get to a point where you need to start making like decisions.
You take it from the civilians.
Yeah, you take it from civilians, but then like if someone's like wounded, like quite wounded, just leave them there.
Like dung.
Yeah.
It says here, the German military has said it expects Russia to be able to attack a NATO country as soon as 2029.
2020.
Saying it's gonna be able to basically saying Russia ain't got the tall ones now. What are you talking about?
Delaying, pushing back. It says while Russian President Vladimir Putin casts the West as an aggressor for arming Ukraine. The Ukraine war has caused the sharpest confrontation between Russia and the West since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis.
Because really, it's like Ukraine, basically Russia fighting the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And they're depleting themselves in this war too.
Yeah.
They're depleting. Yeah, they're wasting a lot. Because every time you have to do something, like the brother saying, say like for instance, the whole thing with the Israelis and the Iron Dome, that first Iranian barrage that they did cost billions to Israel and America, and you've used a whole bunch of ammunition. Them man were using that cheap drones. These men are using missiles. You can't just, like you said, you can't just get those missiles again in a day late on Amazon. Them missiles have to go back into production to replace them. So
man and Raytheon's just there like
because they were saying that the Ukraine war were going into a lot of the NATO countries' actual reserves of stored up missiles, man. So
they're saying Russian air defense and jets will threaten medical evacuation flights in a way that insurgents in Afghanistan or Iraq could not, likely creating a need for hospital trains that could transport more casualties at the same time than aircraft.
That's why another thing going into that's why usually in war, what happens is the whole economy kind of ends up being changed towards war.
Yeah.
Because you have to, like for instance, you need bullets. So you need more bullet factories, and that's one of the reasons why they started putting women in the workplace because there weren't enough men to do the work. So they started putting the women in the workplace to make the materials and the things necessary for war, because war just uses product. It doesn't create anything. It uses things. It destroys things. Like, the missiles is designed to be destroyed. You can't reuse it. So then you need to make another missile, man. You can't just reuse it. Well, actually, you might be able to make some kind of recyclable
You
warhead.
know, I was thinking Elon Sergi say that. There was no.
Recyclable warhead. Man. You're gonna pick the warhead up and put it like, yeah, war is very very in what's it called? It's not really good for the economy ultimately
Yeah.
because you're really investing in destruction.
Well, that's how a lot of countries ended up getting into debt over the years. Like they'd have a war, and this is like throughout the ages, they'd have a war, massive war, and then they had to pay their soldiers. But it's like, well, now we need to borrow from these guys to and all of
Yeah,
that.
war is it's not productive. Once your economy is there basically to produce weapons that destroy things. Like, okay, once everything's destroyed, you've not got nothing out of it but destruction.
Yeah.
And then you've got all these, But anyway, yeah. So you'll see that will have to happen because them man are got to have a shortage. You're not got unlimited missiles, man.
That's it.
Oh.
So back in Joel 3, verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither call thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat.
Yeah, that's down there in that so-called Middle East area. These different nations are gonna be down there doing the Royal Rumble, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a built up, and they already have assets in and around that area, all of them. You can all help, man. Even if it's a submarine launching up a few missiles on some targets, man. Just like how the Americans do. They're there in the Middle East. They're always involved and they're there to help.
Yeah.
Everyone's got assets in and around. China's got assets. Russia's got assets. These different Arab nations.
It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, but there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Yeah, man. So it's gonna get mucky over there. This war is gonna drag everybody in through these mutual defense pacts, and just due to like everyone's gonna have to pick a side, man.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be no neutral nation. That's something I was listening to a guy and he said, yeah, everyone's gonna have to pick a side. There's not gonna be no neutral nations in this World War III. Like, okay, I could just sit here. No, you're gonna have to pick a side, man. And that's how the Lord wants it, because that goes back into Isaiah 34th chapter. How the Lord's judgment is upon all these armies, man. The Lord wants all these nations to get a taste of destruction, man.
Because they've all touched the apple of the Lord's eye.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Even Switzerland.
The controversy of Zion. The Lord said, that's why we don't have to do nothing. The Lord said, wait upon him.
Yeah.
Because his determination is to gather the nations that he may pour out his judgment.
That's right.
So the other nations are fucked. That's why we don't need no artillery, we don't need no weapon, we don't need no standing army. All we need is Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shine, man.
Sit
Just
back,
have
watch,
faith. Yeah.
and enjoy the ride.
And we are enjoying it.
We are
Yeah.
enjoying it, yeah.
We can't wait for that next.
We're gonna watch you other nations destroy each other.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the glory.
Well, the whole world's looking to see how these Israelis are gonna respond to that latest Iranian attack, man.
Yeah. They're gonna do some stupid shit.
So like, hopefully they do something that escalates it again. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're supposed to be doing this ground invasion thing, but obviously they got a little bloody nose there.
Yeah.
So
Rethink the strategies.
That's it. But all of this as well is going into just the destruction of that Edomite image, man.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Stained now.
it's stained.
There's no more all this so-called
High and
Yeah,
lofty. Yeah.
that shit's gone now. Everyone can see who you truly are.
Who you are.
Scum of the earth.
Because even people are like, wait there, why are they condemning Iran? People are like, why is Starmer condemning Iran? Like, here it is.
You're starting fights with everyone.
Exactly. Everyone can see Israel's the aggressor.
Israel definitely has the right to defend itself.
But not I remember even one, I think it was in one interview. But man, it's this everything right now is beautiful, man. Esau's, is I said that his image going down.
Greatly despised.
Greatly despised, yeah.
Going to be greatly despised amongst the nations.
Yeah.
see, they're currently having ongoing border clashes, isn't it?
And even if people are like, not even just the government, but people are identifying like the companies that are behind it, or like, not just the financial services sector, like all these, like people are targeting like the actual weapon manufacturers. Like you got all these roadblockers going, BlackRock. People are going to these buildings, spraying them up, breaking the windows, attacking the security, like going. And
Look at this. They've killed over 2,000 people in Lebanon, right? So these men are like, they're just killing a lot of people, and they're being the victims.
Yeah.
shedding bare blood.
But wait, how many was in October 7th?
Less than 1,000.
It's like, and then and then it was, you know, the information came out that it was mainly what the Hannibal Directive.
Yeah, the Hannibal Directive. It's really the Israeli army.
Yeah.
They got smoked
These
out.
Hezbollah leaders are dropping like flies. Though.
Yeah,
And they
just
killed
keep,
another one. Yeah.
keep
So
seeing.
that's how they're gonna get. It's gonna get more spicy, man.
Yeah.
They're taking out a lot of them Iranian leaders, man.
Yeah. But they
Soleimani
replaced
and all
them.
that.
Don't worry, the Lord got more
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
more heathens to add to the meat grinder. Anything else so then we close up?
There's an article on Newsweek where Putin was basically telling any Russians in and about Israel to evacuate out the country as well. So man are looking for some smoke.
Yeah, because they know it's spooky right now. I mean, it's a very, you know, it's spooky. That's what I'm saying. And a lot of them, man, they got the dual membership or they got one membership. They're applying right now.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to have to be called up. These men don't want to go across the border lines.
But who really wants to do it? Like, it's only a select group of man actually is like,
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that. Listen, like, they don't want to, you know, because most of them are ex-military too.
Yeah.
But like I said, they were doing police. They were glad to get out of there.
Yeah.
They don't want to go, oh yeah, you need to send you across, we need to send you into Syria or something.
Yeah.
Come, see, Syria, you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to live their life. So they want to, they're probably gonna see in America somewhere.
Cause you know what I was finally watched June, innit? And then what's the thing?
June,
Yeah,
the
it
Hawking
was
and-
hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
But what was the thing that the sand dwellers used to say? It was like, look, man, we're people of the sand. It's like, yeah, they can come here, but we this is our territory, like, you know.
They fucked them Harkonnens up
Yeah.
out there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so with that, you know, Lord willing, be edifying, man. We're gonna close up. Say call halal, yeah. Double honor to the apostles.